regular meeting of the Hawthorne City Council is called to order at 6:03 p.m. I'm going to ask, let's take a look over here. I'm going to ask Councilmember Patterson to do the Pledge of Allegiance today, and I'm going to ask Treasurer Gregory Fallon to do the invocation, please. Invocation first, please.
All right, let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, please help us to get through all this COVID stuff, and hopefully soon these masks will be off and we'll see each other's faces and be able to get this all behind us and help us to grow from this and be a better city. Amen.
Amen.
Could everybody stand up, face the nearest flag, put your hand over your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, can you please do the roll call?
I certainly can. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. So we'll start off with Councilmember Monteiro.
Present.
Councilmember Patterson.
I'm here.
Councilmember Reyes English.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine.
Here.
And Mayor Vargas.
Here.
Thank you. Record reflect that all members are present.
We have about 3 presentations. We'd just like to remind everybody, we have like a general 3-minute rule, please, 10-minute rule for that, so that we can get through all of the meeting in a decent amount of time. So let's take a look. Okay, we have our first presentation. Councilmember Patterson, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last month, a number of the council members, city manager, attended a awards banquet hosted by the South Bay Workforce Investment Board and the WIB. They recognized a number of young people that have taken advantage of their programs and their services throughout the South Bay, graduates of their program. One individual that they did recognize was somebody from our very own city. He's a commissioner with our city, let me say his name right, Jason Caraballo. I don't have his story memorized, but I remember being quite impressed by the work that he's done. Not only he's a commissioner with us, but he works as a planner in another city. And so I want to make sure that we recognize him as well and let him know we appreciate his contribution to his city. The fact that he's he's grown and had such success that he's had, but he's maintained his residence in Hawthorne, and he's contributing to the city on our commission. So I wanted to award him a certificate of recognition, and I'm just read it really quickly. Certificate of recognition proudly presented to Jason Caraballo in recognition of your excellence and commitment to the professional planning and service to the city of Hawthorne. We congratulate you on your innovative ideas, dedication to the profession. We look forward to your future achievements. We, the city of Hawthorne, are extremely proud, and we wish you well wishes in your future endeavors and continued success for through the years. So just want to congratulate you and appreciate your service to the city.
Thank you.
Could you share with us a little bit about your story?
Well, so I actually started as an intern with the city of Hawthorne back in, I believe it was 2010. So, a lot of success and gratitude to the planning department. Greg was actually there around that time, Maria, and also Chris Palmer. And then Nicole, I know she's there recently. I owe all them a lot of thank yous. Once I left Hawthorne, I interned for various other cities, the city of Baldwin Park, city of South Pasadena. I got my first full-time planning position for the city of Rancho Palos Verdes, and now I'm working here at the city of Beverly Hills as a city planner. So yeah, and I also thank you guys, the mayor and city council, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of the planning commission and utilize all my knowledge and experience and background to help the city.
Thank you, sir. Would anybody like to say a few words for Mr. Caraveo?
I would.
Hands
I'll go with Councilmember Montero first, and then Mayor Pro Tem Valentine. Go ahead, Councilmember.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hello, Jason.
Hi.
Congratulations. I just wanted to say that, I know Jason since he was in the junior high in the high school, because he was part of the Lions Club. We used to have like a Leo's Club called the juniors Leos, that he participated in a lot of community events that the Lions put together, clean up in the city of Hawthorne. So I know him since he was a young kid. Now he's a grown man with a son, and he went to college in Arizona and then came back to the city and give back to the community. So my hat goes off to you, and congratulations on your success. And I just wish that one day maybe you can become our planner.
Thank you.
Not instead of just a commissioner, right? Especially as we enter in February, we're going to celebrate the Black History Month. So you're one of the success stories for the city of Hawthorne, because you grew up here. Your families came, from Belize overseas. So you are a very success story. So you have to tell the story to your peers and to colleagues, to be a mentor, because you, like I said, you are outstanding citizen and have grown up to be a guy that give back to the community. So my hat goes off to you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine.
Thank you, Mayor. Jason, congratulations on your achievements. Congratulations on having won the award from the South Bay Workforce Investment Board and been recognized by them. And we are so proud to have you as not only a citizen of Hawthorne, but an active contributing member of the community of Hawthorne. Thank you so much for your service, and we look forward to great achievements from you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Reyes English.
Yes, congratulations, Mr. Caveo, on all your efforts, and greatly achieved and most commendable. So wish you well. I learned a lot already about you just listening to everyone else. I don't involve myself necessarily in the Planning Commission, and I do that for other reasons. But it's good to know that your heart is in the city of Hawthorne, that you provide for the betterment of all who live and work and play here. So congratulations to you and well wishes in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Commissioner Caraveo, I remember when your name came before me through your application, and I can tell you that all your curriculum vitae is outstanding. I even had you do like a little mini project for me that I kind of wanted, because the Planning Commission is very important. I asked you about certain numbers out there throughout the South Bay for, I believe it was RENA apartment complex, percentages of apartments to homeownership. So I wanted to compare some rates and RENA numbers, and you did an outstanding job. So I can personally attest that you're a well-qualified member of our planning world here in the city of Hawthorne as a commissioner. And I think you were working up on the Hill as well, right? Weren't you working up at the Hill?
Yeah, at that time I was in
Yeah.
Rancho Palos Verdes.
And now you're at Beverly Hills. So I mean, just the fact that you're working for some of these fellow cities that are pretty good, have a good stellar wow factor, and all the development that takes place in them, is a proof that you're a very well qualified individual. And I think somebody mentioned that maybe you might consider well, I hope I don't offend anybody that's working in our planning department, but based on what I've seen, I think you would be a very great candidate. So that's something maybe you should really consider. So thank you very much and congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so I think we're
Thank
good. Let's
you.
give him a big round of applause, everyone.
Yeah. Proud of you, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right. We're going to move on to the next presentation. Mayor Pro Tem Valentine, anti-bullying contest.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to present Elena Maloney, who is the Executive Director of New Star Family Justice Center, a very well-known and very positive force in the city of Hawthorne for good and for helping women, mostly women who have suffered through disadvantages in some manner in domestic violence issues. So I'm going to ask Elena to come forward and talk about her anti-bullying contest. Elena?
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Vargas, Olivia Valentine, all council members, and Chief Ishii, if he's there, I can't tell from the screen here that I'm at, or any of the officers. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to present once again the results of our anti-bullying contest that we do each year with the Hawthorne School District. And once again, the students this year surpassed our expectations of not just what they learned, but how they presented it with amazing artwork and spoken word. The anti-bullying and healthy relationship program is a very important program for us because it prepares students, it prepares young people for healthy relationships, so that hopefully we don't see them coming into our office, you know, once they are older. Tonight here, I have my staff member, Maria Campos, who actually did all the work on the program, and she will tell you a little bit more. I believe a video will be shown. It's just 2 minutes video, but you could see the tremendous work that they have done. But before this, I would like to introduce Mr. Rudy Salas. He is in Pupil Services at the Hawthorne School District, and we had an opportunity to work together. I had Mr. Salas, I enjoyed working with you. I'm really looking forward to doing more work with the students, and I'd like to know if you would like to say something about this program that we've done together.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor, council members. Rudy Salas, the Director of Pupil Personnel Services in the Hawthorne School District. Warm wishes from our Superintendent, Dr. Helen E. Morgan. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to attend today. I want to thank, obviously, Elena and Maria for providing this opportunity for our students. We know that when adults respond quickly and consistently to bullying behaviors, they send the message that it's not acceptable. Research shows that this can stop bullying behavior over time, including students, and tapping into their natural art skills and drive is a critical component to this program. Parents, our school staff, and adults in the community like you can help kids prevent bullying by talking about it, building a safe school environments, and creating a community-wide bullying prevention strategy. So we obviously thank New Star for partnering with us and allowing our students to showcase their talents, their artistic talents, and also addressing the need to stop. And if you see something, say something in regards to bullying. So thank you very much, New Star, and thank you, City of Hawthorne.
Maria, are you able to come on and talk a little bit about the work you did?
Yes, I am. So hello, everybody. Hello, Mayor Vargas, City Council members, and everybody else. I am the program assistant at New Star, and part of my job is to do outreach and prevention with our community. So we are so grateful with the Hawthorne School District, Mr. Salas, who has allowed us to continue working with Hawthorne's youth in potentially influencing a more positive and healthier environment for our students. And so I am so happy that we could present this project with everybody here today. And I look forward to presenting many more projects as we continue to make efforts in minimizing violence here in our lovely city of Hawthorne. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
I believe Eric is able to show the little video that we put together.
anti-bullying art/poetry contest. This poem is titled Bullying is Not Cool. A bully can be both a boy and a girl, but don't be a bully, be a friend. Don't allow to impress your friends because sometimes they may not even care about you. If you're a bully, you should know you don't look cool, but you look foolish. If you think you're a god, you should see people nod in disappointment because bullying is not cool. You mock people, you block people. But how would you feel if people did the same to you? But oh, they wouldn't because bullying is not cool. You treat people badly and you avoid the bullying rules, thinking you look cool. But you are wrong because you are so uncool. Someone may be short and you may be tall, but that doesn't mean you're above them at all. For all those bullies out there, there's an anti-bullying team, and we want to let you know that you can't destroy our self-esteem. Stand up, be proud, and say it out loud. If you're a bully, you are not cool, but you are instead a big fool. And to end this video, I would like to say, if you see someone getting bullied, don't be a bystander, but speak up to the bully or tell an trusted adult. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.
So there's so much lessons in that poem, wasn't it? So what we did is we had her recite the poem while we put the pictures up of what the other students did so you could see the whole thing. So we're, and there's a lot more than this, but this is all we could put in 10 minutes. I hope you liked it, and we're waiting, for it to do again next year. And, we want the City of Hawthorne to have healthy and happy students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, Ms. Maloney. Thank you so much for coming. I always enjoy your anti-bullying art contest and what you've achieved. I would like to know, what have you observed in the attitudes of the students since you started doing the anti-bullying art contest?
Well, one of the things that surprised me, especially these last 2 years, that we had so many participants, because it was really difficult to reach them. I remember last year we had to, we have these kits that we give them. We had to deliver the kits at home because COVID was so bad, and still we had so many participants. I'm still struck by the kind of work that they give us. I mean, this is one poem out of 4 or 5 of them. I believe that they really understand what they are learning. I think they will be the ambassadors, for other students.
Yes, we hope so. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Monteros?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mrs. Maloney, Ms. Campos, and Mr. Rudy Salas. Good seeing you. Again, thank you for another year, right? Because the partnership has been going on for quite a while with the Hawthorne School District. Because I know when I used to be on a school board, we had 0 tolerance for bullying. So I appreciate you keep the spirit going every year to remind the kids that bullying, yes, is still among us. And until we don't eradicate it, we have to make sure that the kids know, because like you said, they are the ambassadors, they are the healer, that one day bullying would be no more, right?
Correct.
So my question to you is, have you guys thought about doing something with the kids about bullying in social media?
It is one of the issues that we address. I believe Maria has done some work on that. So what I want to say is that the anti-bullying art contest is a bit short, and we frankly don't get too much opportunity to interact with the kids. We do more of this work with the teen dating violence prevention, which is coming up next month with the Hawthorne High School. Having said this, I would like to say that we are in the process right now to to apply for a grant that will allow a full-time person to actually work with the school. So I hope all of you wish us luck on this, because then, we will have an advocate from our center to the school that can do work on a weekly, daily basis, to really have a robust program about this. So that's our wish. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you need any letter of support for your grant, reach out to me, okay?
Thank you so much. I can't wait until we can bring the kids back into the back in person, because they really enjoy that. They got a civic lesson in addition to a bullying lesson.
And we all keep our fingers crossed next year we'll have them.
Very good. Thank
All
you so
right.
much again.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We have a final presentation by Public Works Director Leung on the Hawthorne Municipal Airport Super Bowl safety protocols. And Captain Tomatani is going to follow up with an update regarding public safety related to that event as well. Go ahead, Mr. Alan Leung.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. At this moment, I'm going to turn it over to our airport manager, Guido Fernandez. He will have a presentation. Guido?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
It should be coming up right now. Let's see. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, everyone in attendance. Once again, I'm Guido Fernandez, the airport manager, and I just want to thank you for this opportunity to give you a brief overview of what the Hawthorne Airport is doing in relation to the Super Bowl 2022 event. As most of you know, Super Bowl will take place on Sunday, February the 13th of this year. In this aerial overview map, you can see that SoFi Stadium here at the top is actually only 2 miles north of the Hawthorne Airport. So the event location is very close indeed. What dates will be most affected by Super Bowl air traffic? Wednesday, February 9th, all the way to Monday, February 14th is when we expect the most impact from the event. Once again, Super Bowl taking place on that Sunday, February the 13th. But we do expect traffic to decrease by Tuesday, February 15th. So 2 days after the event, we do expect traffic to go down. The FAA is implementing safety protocols to ensure the safety of both the event and air traffic due to the event. Number one, they're going to be implementing what they call TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, 1 hour before the game and ending 1 hour after the game, which would be 2:30 p.m. all the way to 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, our time. They're also going to be issuing NOTAMs, notice to airmen, in which the FAA will explain that they're going to limit the availability of operations and that they're imposing flight restrictions due to the Super Bowl. They're also going to have what they call air traffic management initiatives, which are safety protocols to control the high volume of traffic. Some of these include rerouting, altitude restriction, ground delay programs. And here at the very bottom, you can see that I included the FAA Super Bowl website in case anyone wants to read more about what the FAA is implementing to manage the Super Bowl. Now, the city as well and the airport, we are also implementing safety protocols. For example, we're going to have additional and extended work shifts to provide support to the fixed base operators and to be able to respond immediately for needs of maintenance of the runway, the taxiways, and the airport entrance gates. We're also going to be arranging traffic control support from both our Public Works Department and our Police Department. We have also been conducting meetings, hosting meetings between the air traffic control tower and the fixed base operators to coordinate aircraft parking due to the high volume of traffic that we're expecting. And finally, we have been participating and we're going to continue to participate in weekly meetings with the FAA and NFL in preparation for the Super Bowl and also in the use of the aircraft parking reservation system or program. Now, regarding that program, the aircraft parking reservation program, that's something that's being managed by the fixed base operators at the airport. The reservation program, its purpose is to facilitate air traffic control management and handling of ground services as well. That program is going to be in effect between Wednesday, February the 9th, all the way to Monday, February the 14th. The way it works is that aircraft, they must reserve a slot with the fixed base operator to either arrive or depart between February 9th and February the 14th. And it's the fixed base operators that manage that reservation system with the help of the NFL and in cooperation with the FAA. We just want to ensure everyone that the city and the airport is taking steps to maintain the safe and efficient use of the airport, not only for the Super Bowl event, but of course at all times. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Fernandez, for giving us that information for the residents. What can we expect as residents in terms of the increase in noise from during this period of time? Airport noise.
We don't have an exact count as to exactly the volume of traffic that we're going to expect, because it really depends on how many reservation slots are taken. But potentially you could see an increase of up to 4 times the regular amount of traffic, which of course would equate to quite a bit of more noise and impact. So I wish I could offer you better news, but yes, there's going to be quite a bit of traffic coming in.
And can you give us any idea as to what times of day we can expect this noise?
It's going to run most likely anywhere between 6 a.m. to around 10 p.m. on a weekly basis. The only exception to that would probably be on Super Bowl Sunday. On that day, the hours of the tower being extended, we made a special request to the FAA to do that, and they graciously accepted for that day only. It'll be open until 2 a.m. And the reason for that is for safety purposes. We're trying to alleviate the pressure on the number of aircraft leaving the next day. So that's why we're trying to allow as many aircraft as possible to leave on that Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember English?
Yes. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mr. Guido.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Thank you for your presentation. I think it's very exciting, especially, the Super Bowl here across the street from where we live and in Los Angeles. So there's great excitement. I appreciate all of the work that you're doing to assure the safety of not just those coming through on an airplane, but more importantly, overall, right? Our city and other jurisdictions, everyone's working on this, including, City of Los Angeles. There's all these committees that have been formed to assure the safety of all those that are visiting Los Angeles. What I'd like to see ultimately on February 8th at our next council meeting, if you could please bring to us a number that you might know of reservations that had been made thus far prior to the 9th through the 15th. You had made mention if on the 8th City Council night, if you have a number for us of how many roughly reservations have already been made, that'll give us an idea of how busy, because I know that everyone's going to be jumping to make those reservations. And if you're not first, you're going to be, hurting. So I know there's going to be numbers by the time we have our next City Council meeting. I also would like to see Vaughn and City Attorney to assure that we have a great use of our electronic signs out in the city, that there's advisories that are running in those signage, welcoming those individuals, people visiting the city while here enjoying the Super Bowl, to please assure they're driving safely and using caution when going through our city. And I think that's an advisory that would be helpful for many, especially those that are, not aware and know that this is Hawthorne, that's Inglewood, but obviously all these hotels and everything's being used. So it'd be great to just promote welcome to Hawthorne, enjoy the Super Bowl. Please be aware of the safety of those by driving cautiously while traveling through Hawthorne. I think that's important. And then if you could just provide us also on the 8th, just, a general idea of what else has been implemented, whatever might come up that we don't foresee. And I appreciate our Hawthorne Police Department, and I'm sure there's going to be a heightened awareness, and I know mutual aid will probably be used, from Inglewood asking Hawthorne, and we've already seen that happen just in the concerts and everything else that happens at the SoFi Stadium. And if you have not been to SoFi Stadium, just to tour it, it's a beautiful facility. It's grand and it's huge, and it's very exciting. And whoever that winner may be, whoever you're betting for Super Bowl, it's going to be very exciting. So congratulations to all of those that come to our city and watch the game here, maybe.
Councilmember Montero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Guido. I heard this number about 1,600 more value, like traffic coming to LAX and around us.
It's the number I've heard is 1,100. So it's going to be a huge impact, not only on our airport, but all the surrounding airports, Van Nuys, Long Beach, LAX. Yes, so you're right. It's a big number.
Yeah. And any arrangement because of the championship game this Sunday versus the Super Bowl, like they didn't expect to have the championship game over here, but now we're going to have the Rams and the 49ers. So any other logistics that has been made?
That hasn't been addressed specifically. Everyone's just working towards the Super Bowl. That's their main concern.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Go ahead. Thank you, Guido. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Captain Tomatani, how are you?
I'm very good, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much for having me, members of the council, elected officials, and those of you tuning into the council meeting tonight. I'd just like to go over what some of the preparatory plans are for the police department in relation specifically to the Super Bowl event. As Mr. Fernandez just mentioned, the Super Bowl is going to occur on Sunday, February 13th. And from the police department side of things, we are anticipating some potential issues related with increased traffic through the area. And that increased traffic will not just be vehicle traffic or pedestrian traffic, but we're anticipating increased occupancy at our local hotels, as well as increased consumers at any entertainment venues or restaurants, establishments along those lines. So we have one portion of what our plan is to increase communication with those businesses within the city. So for example, we've already been in communication with a few of the larger hotels in the city to determine whether or not they are already seeing an increase in reservations for that Super Bowl week. We'll continue to monitor that and continue to do outreach for those businesses so that we can properly anticipate what might pop off on a law enforcement side here within the city. The second part of our operation or our planning at this point has to do with staffing. And I would just like to give a little bit of reference here for what a normal patrol staff is. Normally we run 2 patrol shifts a day shift and night shift. And that consists of 2 supervisors and anywhere between 6 and 8 officers. That's on a normal day. In the week leading up to the actual Super Bowl game, we will be increasing staffing, ramping up our operations to culminate essentially on Saturday, February 12th and Sunday, February 13th. February 13th being the Super Bowl. And to give you a little bit of perspective on that, so for Saturday, February 12th, amongst our patrol shifts, we'll actually have 6 patrol supervisors working. That will be to take care of any potential issues that occur here in the city, along with a total of 33 officers. So that's not 33 officers on one shift, but when you consider that normally we would only have 6 to 8 officers working in a patrol shift, that's a significant increase if we're going upwards of 15 officers per shift. It's essentially doubling what our patrol standard is. And on the day of the Super Bowl itself, or here at home in the city of Hawthorne, we'll have 5 patrol supervisors with approximately 30 officers working. And that is in addition to our commitment to the city of Inglewood and the Super Bowl game itself. And we'll have a sizable contingent of officers working at that Super Bowl game on Sunday the 13th, and will be assigned to various assignments such as providing medical assistance via our EMTs and paramedics until our partners from the LA County Fire Department could arrive. We'll be giving them some bicycle patrol teams to help them patrol the parking lot of the SoFi Stadium. We will be conducting some drone operations to help them with their traffic ingress and egress. And obviously the main one will have a sizable contingent of Hawthorne officers actually in the stadium assisting Inglewood with providing security.
Which assignment do you have?
That is to be determined. Captain Lane and I have to have a game of rock, paper, scissors and decide.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
I can be a volunteer at the SoFi Stadium.
The final point that I forgot to mention a little bit earlier is obviously, in addition to communication with the business establishments here in Hawthorne, we are certainly in communication with our law enforcement partners throughout the region. The Super Bowl obviously is occurring in the city of Inglewood, but there are a lot of moving parts that are in play here. One of the teams will be hosted at UCLA, but the other team for the week leading up to the Super Bowl will be hosted in the city of Manhattan Beach. Practice facilities will all be local. So there's a lot of security that goes into all of these plannings, a lot of planning that goes into the event, and we're doing our best to communicate with our partners at Inglewood PD and the city of Inglewood to make sure that that goes as smoothly as we can possibly make it.
Can I schedule a ride along on that day?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Captain Tomatani, for that presentation. What are the streets that are going to be the most impacted, in your view, in Hawthorne?
So it's very difficult to say. I actually, Ms. Valentine, Councilmember Valentine, I would assume that mostly on the north end, specifically around any off ramps from, I would say, the 110 freeway all the way west, any off ramps of the 105 freeway, as far east as the 110 freeway, all the way west to the 405. Just because of vehicle traffic of people that might be trying to actually get closer to the game.
And what about the streets themselves?
We don't expect a very, very large increase on our surface streets. We are that increased traffic on our surface streets. We feel if there's anything, we do have some breweries in the city. We do have a couple of entertainment places in the city that people might want to gather to watch the game, and we'll be paying attention to those types of businesses. And those are the businesses that, as the Super Bowl game actually draws closer, we will definitely increase our outreach to them to find out if they are planning any special events that we are unaware of at this time.
Thank you.
Real quick, Mayor, I attended a concert at SoFi maybe a couple months ago, and the backup was at Prairie Avenue and 120th. You know, it starts kind of far back, and then as soon as you hit Imperial, as soon as you go over Imperial on Prairie, the backup is forever long. So folks tend to park along Prairie Avenue instead of paying $60 for parking or up to $150 for parking. They start looking for the $40 parking along Prairie Avenue from Imperial up to, Century, and then they walk it. But Prairie's packed too. 120th is packed because they're going around on Crenshaw and coming up to get the freeway back onto the Harbor 105 going east. So, yeah. That was my first concert, and that's what I was up against.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Yeah.
Councilmember Montero?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Captain Tamatami. It is good that you guys going to have all those patrol and to the office on that weekend because, even it's also like a Valentine weekend, right? Because as Valentine Day is on a Monday, and then usually we got a lot of people go out to eat on that weekend before the Valentine's. So I'm glad to see. So I was going to ask you guys about the bicycle patrol, but you already mentioned that some of them is going to be at the SoFi Stadium patrolling the parking lot. So I was wondering if we're going to have some of them patrol our streets because, like Miss English said, traffic actually is always I have gone to the SoFi a couple times. Inglewood Avenue, Hawthorne Boulevard, Prairie, all of them tend to back up. and I also knows that a lot of people come on the metro, the Green Line, right? And then they tend to get into those buses. And I understand through Mr. Alan Yoon that the metro have some type of collaboration about this, how the city can help them on that specific line over there on Hawthorne and Imperial.
So interestingly enough, we do know that parking for the game itself is going to be even more restrictive than regular season games have gone, as the NFL is going to take up a significant amount of the parking spots at the venue itself to put on their own proprietary events. So we know that the stadium and the city of Inglewood have acquired almost all of the outlying parking lots closer to the stadium. The metro station park and rides are almost all the metro station park and rides in the area, specifically the one at Hawthorne Boulevard and 111th Street, have been designated as transportation hubs. So people are allowed to park there or arrive at that station on the train and take a free bus shuttle to the venue itself. And we're encouraging that as high as possible. In regards to your initial question, Councilmember Montero, we at this time don't have plans to have our bike patrol operating in the city. We are anticipating that with the amount of increased staffing that we're having on the patrol level, that we should be able to address any of those increased traffic problems, which we do anticipate again on the north side of the city. One final thing that I failed to mention, but thank you for bringing this up. In addition, this is not just increased sworn police staff that will be working on that weekend. Clearly, we will have additional parking enforcement officers out and about on that day as well to address any of those problems that might creep in as a result of people who really want to go watch what hopefully will be a good game.
Okay, that's good. Captain, just I know probably you cannot comment, but if the city of Inglewood have made any other plans because of the incident that happened this weekend, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Fire. Yeah.
We do know what you're talking about. From all of our law enforcement partners in the area, we don't believe that that's in any way or shape or form associated with the upcoming Super Bowl event. And at this point, no, we haven't heard from our partners at Inglewood that they have changed any of their plans.
Okay, good. And my condolences to all the police officers in the nation because we lost one of the officers in New York. So my deepest sympathy for all of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much, Captain Tomatani. Thank you so much for your presentation. And if you need any help on that day, let me know.
I think we all want to help on that day.
We'll all volunteer.
You're laughing because you know you want to get in there.
Well, I wish I could be there. That's a hot ticket right now.
Heck yeah.
That's a hot ticket.
Well, actually, you know
And
what?
let me just remind all the men that are going to the Super Bowl, don't forget Valentine's, okay?
Valentine, yeah.
But
I know
honestly,
it's Super Bowl, but it's also Valentine's.
I think this game between the Rams and the 49ers is going to be big in itself, man. That's the one I want to watch.
Oh, I'm telling you, people are already talking, you know, like, oh my God.
That's going to be a good one. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thanks, Alan.
All right, Mr. Clerk, please read the guidelines for oral communication. Miss or Mr. Clerk, please.
Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, all remarks shall be addressed to the City Council as a body and not to any individual council member. So, during oral communications, speakers shall have 3 minutes to state their business. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from providing a detailed response or acting upon any items not contained on the agenda. The governing bodies as a body shall have the discretion at the close of oral communications to refer any remarks to the city manager for study, investigation, report, and or recommendation.
Okay, do we have any communications?
We received 2 emails which were forwarded to mayor and council, and we have 5 speakers.
Can you tell us the nature of the emails first, please?
It had to do with the green energy, the Clean Power Alliance.
Are they in support or against or neutral or what? Give us a general.
I think they were in support. They were both in support.
Okay, thank you. Just so the record can reflect that we did get 2 emails coming, with regards to that specific item. Go ahead with the speakers, please.
Okay, the first speaker is going to be Mr. Raymond. Let me put him on. Okay, Raymond? Okay, go ahead and speak. You will have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor Vargas, Councilman Valentine. I want to applaud you for not going along with the other 3 city council members in respect to the marijuana stores in our community at the last meeting. I was especially disturbed that the consultant was not present. And why did some of you have the dispensary meeting notes while the other 2 opposing members had nothing? English's notes should have been included in your packet for Olivia and Vargas to see, along with the scope of work. Shame on you, Councilman English, for being ill-prepared and providing inaccurate information to Vargas and Valentine. And let's hope you have the right information this time that was raised by Valentine and Vargas.
Sir, we need to just address the.
I'm just shocked.
I'm waiting for the city clerk, but nothing's happening.
Diana, you need to step in.
Stop it.
Chris Brown, who recently launched his
Stop
cannabis.
it.
Hi, Mr. Vergara, can you direct your comments to the whole city council and not just one person?
Yeah. If you could, please.
So tonight, I will speak to the North Hoffman president to demand the termination of the contract with the cannabis consulting firm. Furthermore, I will ask all the home associations, to campaign against the re-election of Montero, Patterson, and English, and support Olivia and Vargas. At least they will protect the city against the pot
City
stores.
clerk.
To conclude, all you people are doing is creating a defunct Hawthorne Mall. As a businessman, I have seen the ills of the cannabis dispensary. The pot store is a bad idea.
I'm sorry, you need to again continue to direct your comments to the entire board.
And they tear down communities. All you have to do is look at the recent cannabis shop that once stood operational on the corner of 131st and Eaglewood Ave, now a homeless spot. Tell me, you guys, this is not retail business to come to Hawthorne. Tell me that this is not your only horse in the race. Tell me that you guys are smart and have big businesses coming to Hawthorne. We are tired of the same rhetoric and sick of you guys running the same show. Maybe it's time for you guys to resign. Good night, Mayor Vargas, Councilman Woman Valentine. Good night.
Thank you.
All right, let me just stop right here, guys. All right. It doesn't matter what people say, however strong, however however aggressive. We need our city clerk's office to step in at the first sign of these things. I don't care if it's the elected city clerk. I don't care if it's the senior city clerk. I don't care if it's the deputy city clerk. You guys need to step in when you see this stuff. It's not our job as city council members and the mayor to do that for you. I need you guys to evaluate that and to really enact that, because that's not our job. It puts us in an uncomfortable position. Okay, that's your guys' job. That's what you guys are in that position for. I don't care how senior or how junior you are. Okay? Even if they're directing things directly in a positive note to elected officials, even, we shouldn't be addressed directly. It could be in general terms. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have a next caller who is Mr. Doug Chofsky. Doug, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, he just hung up. Let me give him a call back. We're going to move on to our third caller. Our second caller did not answer. Second caller, go ahead, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I can start talking now, right?
Correct. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you. My name is Doug Chusky. I've been a homeowner in Hawthorne since 1985. I love the city. Some of the directions that we've been going to, I'm kind of worried about. As far as this marijuana dispensary situation goes on, a month ago, I just happened to be watching the news, and the news on TV said that there was reports that there's evidence that all of the dispensaries, when they're started anywhere in the nation, shows an increase in crime. All right, well, I didn't know that I was going to be talking to the city council, so that's all I paid attention to. I go, uh-huh. All right, next, the Daily Breeze about 2 weeks ago said that the legal dispensaries, it shows that about 30% of their transactions have been illegal across the board. And again, I wasn't knowing I was going to be calling you guys, so I didn't make more of a note than that. I did some research today. Denver did a study for years, and neighborhood crimes and everything went up as soon as they allowed marijuana dispensaries to go into effect. This came out of the crime report that they did in 2019. Oregon, major drama. The Journal of Criminal Justice made a report in 2/21, February 21, and property crime and burglaries went up and it's all related to the marijuana dispensaries. Oakland and San Francisco's having major drama. The Cannabis magazine came out and said that in beginning of this year. And Oakland's smash and grabs are way up due to the COVID and everything else, and it's all related to the marijuana dispensaries. And there's even a guy that was on the email that said that he has a legal dispensary, and he said he felt safer when he was selling marijuana illegally on the streets before this happened. That's how bad it's gotten in Oakland. So where I'm going now is I really don't want property crime to go up. I don't want our neighborhoods to be more in risk. I don't want my property values to go down. Crime is going to be up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Everything I've done on research-wise, it shows that it increases the neighborhood crimes. And on 131st and Inglewood is a great example of that. The drama they've had at that little place. So that's all I really wanted to say. I am not in favor of authorizing this. I know we can get a little bit of money from tax, but all the drama from that point on is just going to be causing every one of us residents, homeowners, just terrible things. I mean, it's not good. There's no advantage to it, and it's going to create problems. So I don't want to see Hawthorne going in that direction. Thank you. Is there anything else you need from me? Or
No, thank you. That wraps up your time. Thank you so much for your comment tonight. Have a good night.
I'm off the phone. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Okay, our next speaker is John. Hi, John. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor Vargas and members of the Hawthorne City Council. I'm John Capocia, former mayor of Sierra Madre, and I'm encouraging you to change your electricity default to 100% green renewable power. Sierra Madre joined the Clean Power Alliance with a clean power default of 50% green, but has since converted to 100%. When Sierra Madre first joined the CPA, I didn't understand that inertia inhibits customers to opt up to green or down to lean. The data shows remarkable consistency with CPA's members' customers. Very few will opt up, down, or out, regardless of where you start. I expected many to opt up to 100% green, but when it didn't happen, I asked constituents about their choice. It was surprising to me that many supporters of aggressive action to address climate change never got around to exercising the choice to sign up for 100% renewable. Several individuals expressed to me embarrassment over their lack of action. This convinced me that I made a mistake by not initially supporting a default of 100% green. Personally, I'm alarmed by the overwhelming evidence that climate change is largely the result of the burning of fossil fuels. So as an elected official and community leader, I was compelled to act on the unique opportunity to prevent thousands of tons of CO2 from entering the atmosphere by proposing a change to Sierra Madre's default. I explained it to constituents this way. If you don't believe that climate change is a serious threat to the planet and humanity, the small increase in rates is a small price to be part of the solution. If you don't believe climate change is a threat, or you can't afford the small increase, then all I'm asking you to do is to take 5 minutes, pick up the phone and opt down, and I'll personally help you if you need help. It takes less time to make the change than it will take to stand up at the podium and complain about the change to the city council. I got very little pushback. When you think about it, it's really hard to argue that having to make a 5-minute phone call is a terrible injustice or inconvenience. In February 2020, the Sierra Madre City Council voted to convert to 100% green, and not surprisingly, the opt-down rate has been minimal. And I, as mayor, received 0 complaints. So members of the Hawthorne City Council, I'm telling you from experience that this is easy to do, and your action will be profoundly significant. There is nothing else any of you can or will do in your lifetime that will be as impactful to reduce CO2 emissions. If Hawthorne makes the change, you're adding to the growing momentum of cities opting for 100% green, and your actions will encourage others. Your constituents will overwhelmingly be supportive. I urge you to make a difference by exercising leadership with this unique opportunity to help.
Thank you, sir. Your 3 minutes are up.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Is there anything, anybody else?
We have 2 more callers. One moment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Brenda. Go ahead, ma'am. Oh, one moment. She just clicked off. I'm sorry, we're going to go on to the next speaker. Ms. Brenda did not answer.
Okay, our next speaker is Michelle. Michelle, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Michelle Ellison. I'm calling in regarding item number 24, consideration of the 100% green power default with Clean Power Alliance. Over the past 4 years, I've been supporting many of the cities in going to 100%, and it's just so exciting that we now have 18 of our CPA member agencies, which accounts for about 2 million people, enrolled in emissions-free electricity. This is truly unprecedented progress in terms of how quickly, cost-effectively, and easily our communities have been able to reduce our carbon footprint. And it's serving as a model for cities around the state, country, and world. Most recently, last month, Los Angeles County, Beverly Hills, and Redondo Beach all made the switch, so you'd be in great company in doing this now. The data shows strong customer participation rates, about 95%, across our cities, regardless of the default level. In other words, customers stay with whatever the default is. There isn't much movement up, down, or out. With this one council vote, you can make a huge leap forward in your climate action goals and help to lead the way for others. Low-income customers receive the benefit at no extra cost. And CPA works closely with cities making the switch. Customers will receive notices with their options so they can make an informed choice. And it's easy to opt down. So I hope you'll take this opportunity to create a more sustainable, healthier, and safer future for us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
We had one speaker, but we couldn't reach her, Brenda. So that's it.
That's it?
We just need to wait 30 seconds if anybody else calls in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. On consent calendar, we do have, Mr. Mayor, 3 items. There are items 8, 9, and 13 for your consideration and approval. Item number 8 is approval and waiver of full readings of resolutions and or ordinances for tonight's agenda. Item number 9 is City Treasurer's request approval of the warrants. And item number 13, which is a resolution number 8333, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, approving and authorizing submittal of application for Cal Recycle Local Assistance Grant Program SB 1383, for which the City of Hawthorne is eligible. And these are all presented for adoption.
I move.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Monteiro?
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine?
Yes.
And Mayor Vargas?
Yes.
Thank you. The vote reflects mayor and city council member voting yes.
Okay. The next item, 11, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now is the time and place to declare publicly received sealed bids for the Holly Glen Park and Jim Thornton Park Improvement Project, number 2203. Public Works Department declaration publication filed. There are 6 bids received. All were accompanied by bidder bonds. The prices are as follows. Bidder number 1, Public Construction, came in at $2,139,900. Martinez Landscape, $1,486,649. MCEC Inc. at $2,294,480. Newman Midland Corporation, $2,490,585. RT Contractors Corporation, $1,212.55. G2K Construction submitted a bid but did not have a bid amount. Motion that bids be referred to staff for study and recommendation at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, real quick question.
I have a question.
Yeah, I got a question first. I'll ask mine and then I'll let you go.
So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just really quick. I don't know, maybe it answers you. Mr. City Manager, what is our general approach when selecting a bid? Are we necessarily going for the lowest price? Or?
Absolutely not. No, we look at their work history, look at their work, previous work, if they worked for the city before. Staff looks at the reference on other jobs that have completed in nearby cities. They do a study of their protocols and their timelines. If those timelines have been met with other cities or other companies. And after that, staff discussed the
cheapest is not always the best. Sometimes the most expensive isn't always the best either. So I just wanted to see what your policy was. I do know that previous administrations used a different approach, but that makes me comfortable in making a motion. I move.
Second.
Ms. Valentine had a question.
I had,
yes, go ahead.
That was my question. You took my question, Mayor.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I knew it. I had a good feeling. But okay, it's very important that we do approach it carefully. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll do a roll call.
Who was the second?
I had Montero.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Thank you.
I thought it was me. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it you? I'm sorry, Councilmember English. I heard Montero, but it's up to the mayor.
Give it to English. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll give it to the
appreciate that. Okay, with that, Councilmember Montero.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine.
Yes.
And Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
Thank you. The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes, with Councilmember Vargas making the motion and seconded by Councilmember Reyes English as record is corrected. Thank you.
Item 14, we don't have any public hearings at the moment, so we'll move on to 16. We do have an ordinance, item number 16. Please go ahead.
Thank
Ms.
you. Ordinance number 2229. This is a first reading. It's an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, amending section 2.46.070 of the Hawthorne Municipal Code, amending Juneteenth, Cesar Chavez Day, and President's Day as a municipal holiday. This is again is for introduction.
I introduce.
So these days are gonna be, City Hall is closed, right?
Your holiday, yes.
Municipal holidays, and that would qualify for that, yes.
So I have a question. Are they not already holidays?
Two of the days are already, which city has already been recognizing as holidays. That's President's Day and Cesar Chavez Day. It just wasn't in the ordinance.
Okay.
And then Juneteenth Day is being introduced as a new additional holiday.
Okay.
All right.
For item 17, there are no general matter items on the agenda. But we do have a city manager's consent calendar, and that's item number 18. Mr. City Manager, the agenda reflects that you have items 19 to 27 on the consent calendar. So let's take a look. That's about 8 or 9 total, about 9 items. For item 20, we have the President of Telehealth, Dion Rambo, who's available for questions. And for item 24, we have Ted Bardock. If you could please help me out with that last name. The CEO of Clean Power, available for questions. And Mr. City Manager, can you just introduce your items, please?
Absolutely. Good evening. Item 19, agreement between the City of Hawthorne and Harris Associates for hotel financial feasibility and public revenue peer review and analysts. We have item 20, amendment number 2 to the agreement between the City of Hawthorne and Telehealth Band LLC for providing daily virtual telehealth resources and family support to low-income and homeless residents in Hawthorne. Item 21, American Rescue Act ARPA update. Item 22, appropriation of $67,407 from the Police Department Asset Forfeiture Fund for the purchase of LEICA RTC 360 and approve the purchase order in not to exceed the amount of $67,407 to Greater American Financial Service for the purchase of LEICA RTC 360 from Processions Survey Supply for use by Hawthorne Police Department staff. Item 23, 2022 Centennial Event. Item 24, discussion and possible action regarding the opposition to set the default rate for all community choice aggregation accounts in Hawthorne at 100% renewable energy, green power level. Item 25, Measure M funding agreement MM 5508.08 between the City of Hawthorne and Metropolitan Transportation Authority to design signal improvements for the Crenshaw Boulevard Signal Improvement and Intersection Project, and appropriation of $260,000 from the general fund balance for this project. Item 26, memoranda of understanding between South Bay City Council of Government and the City of Hawthorne. Item 27, unsecured pre-development loan to Skid Row Trust for access surplus of low mod funds to the successory agency. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my city manager consent calendar. May I get a motion to approve items 29 through 27?
I would like to pull 20 and 24 for discussion.
Let me circle those. Item 20, 24.
19.
What do you want?
19.
Everybody else okay? Okay, I make a motion for item 21, 22, 23, 25.
Mr. Mayor, I want to pull
26.
item 22 for discussion.
Which one?
23, the.
All right.
Continue.
Make sure you guys know
Mayor,
what you
I'm
want.
sorry, you didn't look up and I was trying to get your attention.
Okay, yes, go ahead, man.
Can I pull item number 27, please?
Okay, was that it?
That's it.
Okay, I amend my motion for approving item 21, item 22, item 25, item 26, and that's it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, that goes to Councilwoman English. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine,
Yes.
and Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
Thank you. The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Okay, we have, thank you, ma'am. We have 5 items that we pulled out for discussion. Let's try to make these an efficient discussion. Item 19.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Robert Kim, do we have the consultant online?
Yes, we do. Councilman Montero, we have Mr. Bruce Galloway from Richard Watson Gershon to address any specific questions. However, I just want to give a little bit of warning here. The agenda item is the consultant agreement with Harrison Associates. Members of the Harrison Associates are also available. That's Hira Mosesman and Dima, I forget his last name. But anyways, we have both the consultant and and our outside counsel available for any questions.
Okay, I just want to make I might just have 2 questions. One of them is because last year when we're talking about the same issue, it was brought up to my attention that it was going to cost $10,000, but now it's about $51,000. Can they explain why, please?
Yes, Ms. Mosesman, or do you want to address that question?
Robert, I can answer. Oh, Robert, I can answer that question.
Okay, that's fine.
Audio issue. And thank you for that question, council member. We'd be happy to answer it. There are a couple differences between the proposal that was submitted last year and the one that was that's currently on the agenda. First of all, the proposal from last year was covering the analysis for only 1 hotel, and it was a relatively light scope of work, including just the analysis and 1 draft of a memo. Following some discussion with staff, we understand that the developer would like to build 3 hotels. So this current proposal includes analysis covering all 3 hotels. In addition, it's a more thorough analysis that we are proposing for conversations with staff. The scope now includes calls between ourselves, the consultant, with staff to discuss the developer's request and our findings in the analysis. It also includes 2 drafts of the memo, which would allow would allow us to incorporate any feedback from staff into the final draft. And it also includes our virtual attendance at a council meeting to present the results of the analysis. In addition, I'd like to point out that because of the increase in the number of new hotels, from 1 proposed hotel to 3 proposed hotels, staff was rightly concerned about impacts to the city's existing hotels, and they asked us to add a market study to the scope. So we've included that as well in this proposal. And I'm proud to say that we were able to partner with CBRE Hotels Advisory, who would provide the market study, and they're very widely renowned and highly regarded in the hotel industry.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. My next question is not just a question, but probably for you to work with our city attorney, Mr. Kim, to give us a confidential memo in regard to existing hotels and TOTs. What is legal, what is not legal, right? The existing ones versus the new developed ones. Because there is a perception of that cities can have discount TOTs on existing hotel, but I think it's not legal. But I want a confidential memo to explain us why.
I will go ahead and provide a legal confidential for that.
All right. Thank you, Robert. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Galkin.
Yes, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah.
I make a motion for this.
I have a question.
Second.
Okay.
Go ahead, guys.
Yes. Mr. Galkin, I was just wanting to ask you about evaluating the TOT reimbursement agreement. So, explain how you're going to do this evaluation for the benefit of the city.
Sure. So our analysis would include both a projection of TOT or transient occupancy tax revenue generated from the construction of 3 new hotels, as well as the development feasibility, comparing the cost of the development and the final value of those hotels and the difference between those 2. So the rebate or the subsidy is based on a couple of primary conditions, one of which is that there's benefit generated for the city, public benefits generated for the city, and that primarily takes the form of additional TOT revenue. It can also include things like jobs, for example. And then the other sort of primary focus is that there's a gap, a financing gap, meaning that the cost to develop the hotels is greater than the value generated by them. And so with those two factors, that's generally when cities will step in and provide a subsidy or a TOT rebate for new hotel development.
And at the end of this analysis, you will be prepared to recommend for us the level of TOT reimbursement we should agree to?
We can, ultimately it will be up to the city council to decide whether to provide a rebate and at what level, but we can provide, the findings of our analysis will indicate at what levels the city can expect how much revenue and how that compares to the feasibility gap of the hotel development.
All right, thank you.
Councilwoman Reyes English?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Galkin, can you also include the last couple of years of challenges that most businesses have had, including hotels due to the pandemic, and obviously no travel or occupancy used by many who would normally, go about life and travel, et cetera. So you could take those into consideration also. I think ultimately a share of TOT is something that, would help all of us. And I think at the end of the day, we need to be able to help all of our businesses, just not those that ultimately we believe are going to take care of themselves. So something to consider. It's just an opinion. However, I think it's important because we're hearing from the business community the effects that the pandemic has had on them. So take that into consideration also. But thank you for your time and your reporting out.
Okay, I second Councilwoman Montero's motion. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you.
Councilmember Montero did make a motion earlier.
Yeah, I made a motion on the 19th.
It's still out. It's still out.
And
so
I think it was seconded by David Harrison.
I seconded it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so then, yeah,
Okay,
so
with that-
once that happens, we're gonna go directly to a vote. We can't go back to a discussion. If that takes place first, we'll just move into a vote, okay? Just so everybody knows.
Thank you with that, Mr. Mayor. With that, Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine,
Yes.
and Mayor Vargas.
Yes,
Thank you. The vote reflects Mayor and Councilmember voting yes. It's a unanimous vote.
thank you. Item number 20, discussion. Telehealth.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, we have the president of Rambo House available for questions regarding item 20.
So I'll just go ahead and start, or does anybody want to go ahead? Does anybody have anything they want to mention? All right, so I'll just go ahead. What's concerning about what's before us today is that we have a contract that we have here, which established with the amount of we were going to be charged for. We basically have an agreement that the city and the provider, Mr. Rambo, signed that said that the city was agreeing to pay the provider $690 per day for 2 5G enabled service vans. It was signed by our city. It was signed by myself, the city manager, our city clerk, our attorney, and Mr. Rambo.
Yes.
And now we have a very great digression from that, in which we are being charged for the $690 for 2 vans now, so we're being invoiced for that. And then we have now on top of that, we have a new contract that is delineating the 5 vans, charging like about $500 or $600 for each van at this point officially, and then adding a 3rd van for a cost of about $700. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but
That sounds so confusing.
No, wait, hold on, no, sir. This is a breach of contract. That's the way I'm reading it. I don't see any other way of explaining it. So, I want to talk to our city manager, Mr. City Manager. Did you indeed, sign this contract? Our city attorney signed this contract, correct?
Yes, we both did.
And are you seeing the same thing I did?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so, does anybody else want to add to that? Go ahead, Mr. Rambo. I'll let you respond to that.
Okay. I think the confusion is you're looking at all the papers up front at the same time, Mayor. But the first thing is I definitely apologize for the first contract that was given out. The word per van was left out. So we apologize for that. Anything that we can do to make up for that. But that one word that's been left out there, obviously, from just a business standpoint, well, you're making an expression. So if that's what was left out, Mayor, and that's what actually caused all the chaos. And we talked to the city attorney about it. We've tried to come up with other solutions for it. We caught it ahead of time. We knew that, okay, let's just resolve this current agreement with you all because you're under a different understanding. And then let's see if we can go on to something that's a little bit more realistic, which is the one that you're looking at for, I think, the $500 something. And then we decided to share the mental health support, share the medical insurance people, which I think that's one of the last ones that you did mention, Mayor. But that's actually what ended up happening. The word per van was left out. We tried to clean it up just to make sure we could just end the contract earlier without overcharging anything. And that's where we are right now. Just see if we can come up with a better solution.
When I have a contract that I signed that says the city agrees to pay provider $690 per day, that provider delivers city with 2 5G enabled service vans in accordance with payment rates and terms, that's pretty clear. We were supposed to have 2 vans at $690 per day. That's, you signed this. You signed this back in, whenever it was, back in August. So I don't think there's no, exactly. If you had your legal team and if you read this carefully, you would have taken action at that point in time.
Okay.
So, frankly, I don't think we should be paying you for that second van. That's my opinion. Go ahead. Anybody else?
Well, I have a comment about the third van, and that is that originally the third van was $200 per day. Under your Second Amendment, you're asking for $740 per day. And I don't understand that. That's a huge difference. Why the difference?
I understand. The $200 a day is in addition to the $500. The $200 a day was because we needed a domestic violence therapist. So that's what the $200 was paying for, is domestic violence therapist. But the regular van rate was still the regular day van rate, which was, let's say hypothetically, if it's $550, the $200 was because you needed an actual domestic violence therapist, which is your jail reform, for the most part, for the diversion program. So when they had to meet with someone, they had to meet with someone who was actually licensed. So the domestic violence person that we pulled was from Behavioral Health Services. So that's what you're looking at, is you're looking at, Mayor Pro Tem, you're looking at the $200 was only because that needed the additional domestic violence therapist there full time.
I understand, but I understand what you're saying. But how do you go from $200 per day to $740 per day?
It's I don't know if you're looking, I don't know which one you're looking at, but you should be looking at the regular van rate plus the $200 a day for the diversion program. The diversion program, we kept separate from the general van per day. The diversion program, Mayor Pro Tem, was a different agreement.
So what you're saying is that the diversion program van is actually $890 per day?
No,
per current contact, because now you're saying it's the $690 per day plus 200.
If I can interject, Councilman Valentine, if you look at item E, it defines the cost of the one van, and then Mr. Rambo speaks of the $200 increase for that additional service, which brings it to $740.
All right.
Second page of the agenda bill, item E.
Yeah, it's 540 plus 200. That
right.
700.
Right. And it's only because the diversion, obviously the diversion program needed an actual domestic violence person who was licensed. And that was the additional 200. And again, from a small business standpoint, if you getting a domestic violence licensed therapist for just 200 a day when they're 150 per person was something that we just negotiated. And the reason we were able to get it to just 200 for the entire day, meaning if you had, 10 people seeing them, to just get her for $200 a day was just something we negotiated, hoping that if the volume increased, all we're doing is just losing it as a telehealth van, just a $200 a day cost. So that was just me negotiating to find a way to find someone who can qualifiably, meet the people to make sure they can go back to prison, but just to pay them $200 for the time.
What services did you perform with the diversion?
And with the diversion program, we paused the diversion program once we started working with the city attorney, Mr. Kim. So we used the diversion program to just be a program that would just deal with a lot of the people in the community, things like that. We still had the contract with the domestic violence person, Brenda, who was also helping us with the mental health side. So we just pulled everything together to just kind of take care of the entire community until we had this conversation again to see what we can do to tighten things up.
Yeah, I'm trying to get what services did you perform using the diversion van?
Well, we didn't have anyone coming from your presence or anything. So we just recently talked to Michael, your chief, about how to actually implement it going in. Mr. Kim just made the decision, let's just pause everything with the diversion program directly until we got everything ironed out, squared away, cleaned up. Am I
yes.
Attorney Kim, am I saying it correctly? You can chime in anytime if I'm misquoting you.
Oh, well, I wanted to put a stop on the diversion program because of the change in price. Yes. There's first agreement, which specifically was $690 for 2 vans. Then we made an amendment. The first amendment was we added the diversion van for $200 per van for diversion. There's a misunderstanding of the prices, I guess. So we're here as a second amendment to clarify all that. So until it's clarified and it's approved by council, I stop any diversion program from going forward. So what I told Mr. Rambo was that for now, the third van, since you already are using this, providing it to the city, you could use it for the purpose of the 2 other vans. So that's what we have. Because at that point, when I had this discussion, and it's been a while, is that we don't have a clear understanding of the terms of this contract.
That's right.
So that's why we came back with the second amendment.
Right.
Councilmember Montero, are you finished, Mayor Pro Tem?
No, but I'll wait and then I'll circle
Come back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Councilmember Montero, Councilmember Patterson, and Councilmember Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr.
Good evening.
Okay. Well, now, when we did that first amendment, why you didn't catch that per day per van wasn't there? Because you came to second time to the city council to ask for an extension of a contract.
Right.
Instead of 1 year or whatever to go to up to 2024.
Right.
So why you didn't catch that if it was an error? Why you didn't catch it then, and then wait until submit invoice for us to catch that the numbers was not correct basis on the first contract that we signed?
Yeah.
And I want you to address that. And then the other thing that I want to ask you, if we're going to vote on this, to go for 2 vans for $540 per day for each van, how is your service has been delivered? I want to see like unduplicated numbers.
Right,
How many people you have helped,
and
how many have gone to transition per se, case managed to mental health facility to drug treatment programs to maybe potential housing. I want to see those statistics, please.
Got it. So the first question is just an oversight, to be honest with you, just something that I have to apologize for not seeing the per day. It was my oversight, which is why I've always been transparent with the entire team, even when I spoke to everyone individually. And it's my oversight in that even if we added other services because it was needed, such as interpreters, which we'd never factored in, we've always just added in. So missing the per day was, I can do nothing more than just apologize, strongly apologize, and just try to find other ways to show you that I'm a team player in this. We were moving pretty quickly when we closed the deal with you. We were excited to get started. You were going to be our first city contract. You know, we were used to dealing with just agencies, more individual, and it was the same price. So it wasn't that we changed the price because you were a city. We actually reduced the price because you were a city. There's a lot of services that's involved in this. I think if you're looking at the face value of, let's say, $690, it's not that anymore. But if you're looking at that and you're looking at the full-time driver, the mental health person, as you know we have, the medical insurance full-time person, as you know we have, and the interpreters, et cetera, you would see that per day, my overhead per day per van is well over $800 anyway. So I was just trying to find a way to close it really quickly, completely my oversight. I can keep apologizing for it, but I'm hoping that in moving forward, we found a way to reduce the price even down to 500 by, or I think 500 something, by actually having the mental health therapist share vans, having the local resource operators share vans, having the medical insurance person share vans, right? And then when it comes to the interpreters, that's just from Rambo House. We're just going to use the interpreter to bounce as needed. So that would be my goal this time around, especially Mayor and all those here, is to just show that we're trying to do what it takes. We're paying attention to the paperwork a little bit more, tight this time. I'm always open, like I told you, when you guys call me individually, I tell you, just let me know what we need to do, what I need to fix. We are going to pay attention to the words a little bit more. I am going to send it to my council more, and I'm going to slow down with trying to work with you guys to make sure that, you see that telehealth van is actually here to be a partner and not gouge you for your money.
Mr. Rambo, can you speak about if we would have took away the one van during the first 6 months, would that have affected the services that you were providing?
It would have just, the homeless, the unhoused and the low income, they just can't walk, right? So, I mean, it would have, if we would have, even when we're not having guests come, one of the things that we're doing in Hawthorne was we were going around to, that's why the telehealth van brand became so known in Hawthorne so quickly, is we strategically, when the van wasn't used or at a particular time, we were going to make sure that it was helping around to other spots to let your community know it was available. Because from an outreach standpoint, in my background, them being able to see something, the low income or the unhoused being able to see something is what made them comfortable. So sure, you can do one van now, for example. I think I told you guys before, you could choose just one van. The only challenge you're going to have is what the chief was saying, is what he was trying to avoid, is the unhoused having to walk across Hawthorne to get there, because he didn't want to have to. So we were just parking where he told us to park. We did make the offer to chief saying, hey, can we just park in 118 again? That was just something that they didn't want, in terms of they didn't want the unhoused to walk far to get the free service. And if they met the unhoused with a mental health on the streets, they just wanted to be able to just point them to somewhere close to go to. So, but we can do whatever the council determines is best. But that was just what we've been doing based on that. And let me say this too, that we learned from the first mistake that we've made, that I own up to, is now the office expanded, et cetera, for telehealth van because of our military contracts, et cetera. So because we've expanded, we've been able to hire full-time people, which is why we can now do the bounce around. I wouldn't have been able to offer what I can do now 3 months ago. So before we were, from a compliance and HIPAA standpoint, if you were me as a small business owner, I know you guys are running the city now, but if you're a small business owner, from a HIPAA standpoint, I couldn't have a mental health person on 2 screens. We'd be out of compliance. So now we actually can, because they're inside of our office. I'm paying them full time, no matter what, taking care of you. So things are a little bit different than it was 3 months ago. And hopefully we'll get a chance to show you.
Mr. Brown, but since September, how many unhoused or low-income families have you reached out to in Hawthorne?
Is Crystal on here? Crystal, are you on here?
Hi, everyone. So for the 2.5 vans, we've seen 89 guests. Some were returns. For medical insurance, it's about 40% of them. For the mental health services, it's about 30%. And the venting, for the guests that were just coming up venting, that's about 20%.
And those were, now let me say this too, although we have those numbers, and if that's even considered an estimate, with Oracle finishing your database, they fly back here on the 29th and the 30th, I think.
31st.
The 31st. You will all have full access to the entire database to see in real time. So as soon as someone walks up to what happened in the result, you know, did they go to Shirley BHS, or did they not go to BHS? Did they do nothing at all? You'll have more solid data. This is a database that doesn't exist yet, and that's why they're building it and using the city of Hawthorne as an example of how to shape the data to what's, you know, to what you need to justify if it's a good program or not.
So let me ask you a quick question. What's the name of the lady again? I forgot.
Crystal.
Oh, Crystal. You said something about 40% medical insurance. So for those that, for example, low-income family, how many of those people that you guys have put into, say, California Obamacare, if they don't have medical insurance?
The covered California.
Over California, yes.
Yes, yes.
So how many of those 40% have got referral or have got insurance to the covered California?
I could speak on this. I would almost say almost all of them had, because the person, I don't know the difference of how the insurances work, but I did hear that was a really big one, because the person who was putting them all in, that they kind of all qualified for that easier. I definitely don't know the difference. We can even find, Crystal, can you actually find that out? Can you call Coretta?
Yeah.
And get the actual numbers of who went to what? But I know every time we were having meetings or when I saw people walking up to the vans, that's what I saw that they were qualifying for quicker, because we were printing out the sheets of paper for them to have immediate insurance.
Yeah, she did that right then and there.
Right.
So
And
I
the
don't know.
in-house, and the in-house, how many of those that you guys actually refer to service for housing, whatever, like for example, to LAZA or to some other service to provide some type of service or vouchers to shelter or to permanent housing or to temporary housing? How many of those that you guys have held so far?
Well, we've had people that we mentioned where the directions were in terms of what shelters. You know, the challenge, to be honest with you, with the shelters, and it caught us even off guard, is when we were going to LASA and we were going to HOPIX. Those were the two partners for your city that we were using. The challenge was with COVID, it kept closing down a lot of the shelters. So we didn't know if the shelters were closed down or not. So what happened is, with you guys, in the first 2 hours before the vans go out to your 118th or wherever, they were actually on the phones with the shelters, finding out who was closed, who wasn't closed. You know, as you know, funding stopped during this time. I know we have to speed up. I'm sorry, Mayor. I know that you wanted us to make the answers quick. I apologize, but this was really good information that we learned as well. So this is a new program that no one in the world's doing. So we're kind of working together, trying to make it right. So in the beginning, we didn't know that was going to happen with this. It's changed now. LASA has a new president that we're working with. She's a nice woman that we're working with, trying to figure out how this works. Because this is something that's going to go through all of LA County, especially after you guys going to AV to do the same type of system. And they really want to know how are we doing doing it with you all. So that's just where we are with it. The shelters are a little bit challenging. They didn't have a ride to the shelters. So all we can do is just kind of print out where to go. And if you guys know me, you know I'm not a big fan of just giving them a piece of paper, sending them off. But we can't really figure out that solution right now until we work on how transportation is going to work.
Thank you.
So yeah, no problem. But as you go in the community, please, if you figure out anything, or if you say, hey, Rambo, here's a good number to call, that let us know, because using the county and the state supported things, it shuts down so often. If just one person in their location gets COVID, the whole place shuts down. So it's hard to just send families there. So I'm open if you guys have suggestions on shelters.
Okay, thank you.
Before I go to the next speaker, Mr. City Manager, how many days of service are we being charged for?
Well, we're up to date as far as our billing. As Rambo mentioned, funds have ran out at the end of this month. And what we're asking a recommendation from council to move forward in this fiscal year to provide the same program that we provided for 5 months.
But how many days of service were we charged for that invoice, this last invoice?
For the January's invoice?
Yeah, the one we received January. Is it by month that we're being invoiced?
Yes, we're being invoiced by month.
So over a month's period, this van is working how many days per week?
5 days. 5 days, Mayor.
5 days?
Yes, sir. And after the last invoice to this date, we kept it working. Just even though we sent the invoice in, we kept it working for the sake of.
Yeah, no, I know, but.
Paying, so I apologize.
So how many people have we since, how many days have we been charged in since the amount that, so you calculated that you've serviced 89 people ever since the inception of the program?
Yes, give or take, yes, sir.
And how many days of service has that occurred over? Well, like
30, well, 20, if you count 20 days a month, 20, 40, 60, but now you have the holidays because this was a heavy holiday season too, sir.
Were you working on those days or no?
No, we were not working all the days.
So approximately how many days since have
20,
you?
40, 60. Do you want solid numbers, sir? Or you want estimates? If you want solid numbers, can I get back to you with the number? Or if you want estimates?
Let me refer back to the city manager.
Yes.
Mr. City Manager, I need you to calculate how much we've been billed and how much that translates per person that we've serviced, sir. Mr. City Manager, can you do that for us? For me, at least?
Are you asking for that tonight or to bring back at the next meeting?
By the tomorrow, if you can just calculate it.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Or if you are able to do it today, on hand, on paper, or whatever it is. Okay. Go ahead, Councilmember Patterson.
Hello, can you hear me? Great. I just wanted to recap what's happened from my experience. Last council meeting, I pulled this item, had some of the same questions that many of you guys had as well. Reached out to the city manager, reached out to Mr. Rambo to address those questions. And I'm gonna repeat some things that's already been said. So he had shared with me that initially the plan was to charge the city $690 per day per van. I believe 20 days per month. And then when the city attorney's office wanted to add to the diversion program, his understanding was it'll be $200 per day per van more over in addition to the base price, which would have brought it to I guess what, $890. And I brought up the fact that it wasn't worded. That's not how the contracts were worded. Mm-hmm. And so he acknowledged that it was an oversight on his part that the contracts didn't kind of specifically say that. That was kind of how he understood how they read, but it's not really how we understood how they read. So I think that's what created the confusion with the city attorney's office. So last council meeting, the amendment read $690 per day per van for the regular program, plus $990 per day per van for the diversion program. I after a conversation with the city manager and Mr. Rambo, he adjusted those rates to $540 per day per van, which is what we have today, and for the diversion program to $740 per day per van, with the diversion program being 1 day per week, and then the 2 regular vans being 5 days per week. So just kind of want to bring you guys up to date though. Last week before I pulled it, the numbers were a little bit more. And so after a little bit of conversation, Mr. Rambo was able to bring these numbers down to where they're at today.
Councilmember Reyes English.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just say, wow. We've had other contracts come before us and there's been made amendments. There's been, a couple not too long ago. There was even some additional services. My hope is, and because we've been often touted and told that we're not doing enough to address our homeless and our encampments, et cetera. And I think Mayor made a comment about that. If you remember, Mayor, I think we're doing a lot to address these services that are greatly needed in our city. And I think for the most part, this has never happened before. And so I'm confident with regards to the service that's being delivered, moreover with the new data to track exactly how much, how many, and what uses are being made. I feel confident in that. And moreover, the UCLA tracking that as well. I think we just need to give it some time. But I do hope that Mr. Rambo can continue working with the city manager and bringing us those updates, which is important. I think we're still fresh out of the gate. And I think with time, we will see good results to address our homeless and health challenges that we have in our community. And I have seen them out there myself, and I have seen the services that are being provided in 89, and or you said maybe more. I think again, we're off to a good start, and there's gonna be hiccups, and I'm glad we're addressing those today and moving forward with regards to having those hiccups addressed tonight and providing the amendment that's needed so that we can move forward. Thank you.
I do want to say this, even before you all vote, just so it's on the record. Not only are your residents, Mayor, especially Mayor and your team, not only is your residents able to come to the van if they see a mental therapist or not, they're able to they've been receiving items from the insurance companies, et cetera, to help them. So it wasn't that they were just meeting a mental health therapist or not, or meeting a medical insurance person or not. But I think the thing that honestly bothers me the most about this conversation is we're more stuck on a dollar amount of a few dollars that I'm even telling how much I even give back. That's overlooked, Mayor. And it's more talking about how much I spent, are you getting your dollar's worth? And I'm hoping that you truly see, number one, this program has never happened before. I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm showing the city of Hawthorne. You know, I wish you can, I'm watering down how much we're spending just to show you we want it to work. I'm taking all responsibility on missing information in there. If you'd like us to do even more, Mr. Mayor, but the goal is the families. The goal is the families. Let me know what I can do to help the families versus I brought the price down. We opened up a new office space to make sure that we can now, so we're evolving too. If you just work with us and it didn't feel like this makes it harder for me to want to keep losing money trying to find a way to work with you. So take that how you want to, Mayor. I really want to stay here. But we have 4 people working per van trying to make sure that if a residents walk up, they're not left sleeping at the hospital across the street from the 99-cent store. It's taking them this time, Mayor, just to get used to coming to us. It's taking them all of this time just to see that we're not a threat, that we don't work for anyone taking their kids away. So we're building that relationship that you can then build on, right? We can check them for COVID tests when you want to do it. We can make sure that, you know what I'm saying? So look at us like a partner. Help us find a solution to make it work versus making us feel like we're trying to get over on the city. I assure you all, from a business owning standpoint, we're not. Look at the numbers. We're not. So that's all I have to say. If you vote us in or not, just know that we're here in LA to stay. Everyone's looking at you. They're looking at us. I have a great reputation. And I really want to make sure that we're showing them that we're doing what every single city in the county should do.
No, I really appreciate you giving this feedback, but I really do take offense to your comments right now,
Okay.
because my commitment is not to your feelings about this conversation. My commitment is how we spend the city's money, and that's where my commitment
And the people.
that's what my concerns, sir.
And the people.
So you know, that's a one-way comment I'm making, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Councilmember Patterson, or
I had another comment to make. My hand was up first.
Yeah, go ahead, and then I think so we could just move forward. Go ahead.
All right. So I want to, you know, I want to make my feelings clear too. I agree with Council Member Montero that we needed to have details about how this program is going forward, the numbers of people that are being serviced, and whatever your logs are, whatever your data, we need to see that.
Okay.
I am interested, I think, in moving forward with this up to the end of the fiscal year, and then doing a reevaluation, to see whether or not it has been successful in our view. And the other thing is, you haven't implemented the diversion program, so I'm really not in favor of the third van, because it hasn't been implemented. There's no clear understanding of what it would be doing. And so I'm not in favor of that. I would be in favor of 2 vans under the terms that you're proposing for the end, going to the end of this fiscal year, and are doing a reevaluation to see if, in our view, this has been a successful effort.
Okay, Councilmember Montero, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Rambo, if you can email me your email information, because I'm going to send you some information about the homeless task force. We have the South Bay City Council of Government that we meet every 2 months.
Okay.
And they have a lot of resources there that you can tap in to help the people of Hawthorne or even LA County overall, okay? Because you have Laza there, you have, you know, all these other servers there that will give you specific details, for example, how to get access to shelters or to the home key programs or hotels, all those kind of programs, okay? So send me, because I'm going to try to get you to be members of that homeless task force.
Okay, good.
Okay, so because it's very important for you to be there. The second thing about the diversion program, can we put Chief Ishii, I don't want to put him on, but can he just give us a 30-second on his view about the diversion and his van? Because since some of my colleagues still have questions about how the program will work. So I want to hear from the Chief Ishii on that before we can move on.
Okay. This the attorney should. I think this is the attorney should be speaking about it.
Yes, Councilmember Montero, diversion program is part of the city attorney prosecution unit.
All right. I think Ishii, so.
Yes, so initially we were contemplating a diversion program, and that would be at a cost of $200 per day, and we were going to do it for every day. There is a need for a diversion program. Having said that, I could tell you that because of the increase in price, we cut it down to 1 day per week. And basically, what we have is a diversion program can be provided through other means. What the difference is with telehealth van is that there's a van on the street where an indigent person would be more accessible to an indigent person. There are other diversion programs that the city attorney's office is not participating in that does not cost the city any money, but the participants would pay for their counseling. So these are, diversion is essentially what it is a person is arrested, instead of filing charges with the court, we provide a means of counseling instead of filing charges, and that way they could get their records clean. We have another program where they provide diversion program for different city prosecution units, misdemeanor units, and the reason why we don't bring a contract to you is because it doesn't cost anything to the city. However, that requires the participants to pay for their counseling. So a typical anger management type of counseling would cost, I believe it was about $150. So the reason why we cut down the telehealth to 1 day per week is not just only the money involved, but because we would only use that for completely indigent individuals that want to participate in diversion but cannot afford to pay for counseling.
Okay, that's very good, Mr. Kim. Thank you very much. So I'm going to motion Ms. Valentine's idea for us to go ahead, and sign a contract right now until the end of the fiscal year, and then we'll evaluate telehealth basis on the outcomes. And then we're going to try to help Mr. Rumble with some other service that we have access. Because right now, for example, item 26, we just signed an agreement with the South Bay COG that have money for drug and alcohol abuse programs, right, for the homeless. So all these programs you need to know about. So I would say, this telehealth, this program is very good program. It just has to be on the right track, right?
Yeah.
So I do agree that we do need the service. So basically, I would vote yes to give you this contract, this new amendment till June 30th, 2022. And then before that expires, for us to come back here with numbers and outcomes, and then maybe give you another extension contract for 2023 or to 2024.
I'll second that.
Okay?
I want a substitute amendment to.
Just a moment, I had a question.
But I do want that 2 vans plus that diversion program, because at least we can give it 6 months to see how it works.
Are we saying,
Mr. Kim, do you agree with that?
That's not my decision.
No, I'm just saying if something like that, do you think it will work?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be fine.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Montero, as
Yes.
part of your, and Council and Mayor Pro Tem, are you guys both recommending the 31st of December or the last day in January, as listed here?
And I need clarification on this because as Mayor Pro Tem Valentine moved for amendment to the second amendment to just the 2 vans and no diversion van, and I think both Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Montero wants to try this until the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th of 2022.
That is correct.
Oh, June 30th of 2022?
Into the fiscal year, yes.
Is that true, Councilmember Montero?
Yes, and with
I didn't know that.
continuation that we will evaluate the telehealth van before that June 30th expire, so we can continue the service for the following fiscal year if the council agree.
Is there concurrence on that?
I have a
I second Mr. Montero's motion.
But which is the fiscal year, correct, Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Councilmember
fiscal
Patterson?
year.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson?
But I do want the 3 vans.
Yes, to the end of the fiscal year of this year.
And I want the 3 vans, and understand, right, David?
Yes, Mr.
Patterson?
Montero.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro
Yes,
Tem,
Councilman.
last councilman,
I have a substitute motion, and that motion is that the 2 telehealth vans will be operational until the end of the fiscal year, but there will not be a diversion ban. And that also I will agree with the original motion that the program will be evaluated prior to the end of the fiscal year, and then a determination will be made as to whether to continue it. But my substitute motion is, the difference is that there will be no diversion ban. The diversion ban will be discontinued.
Looks like we should vote on the first motion.
Well,
We vote on my substitute motion first.
No, actually, there's already
Your substitute motion is not seconded. The first motion is seconded.
Guys, hold on real quick, Councilmember Patterson. So we do have a motion on the floor that's been, there's been a motion and a second, so we do need to vote on that.
Yeah, because Mr. Mayor, let me say just because the reason that I want to include the diversion, because Mr. Kim point out that some of the indigent population sometimes have to pay out of their own pocket to go see a counsel for anger management or drug alcohol. So that televan would provide that service for free because we are paying for that. So it would not be a charge to the indigent population that does not have that money, because sometimes those people do not have the money to pay. So I want to see if in 6 months we would have some of the diversion because we have people out there that need this service.
Roll call.
It's only 1 day per week.
Yeah.
So it's
still.
Councilman,
No,
it's
there's
Councilman,
there's no certainty to this program because we don't even know that we'll get people signed up for that diversion program.
Councilmember Montero has a motion and
Yeah,
Patterson
no, roll
has
call
a
vote,
second.
roll call
correct?
vote, please. I'm gonna move to a roll call vote.
Thank you, thank you.
And any other any amendment can be suggested, but after. Roll call vote, please.
On Montero's motion.
On Montero's
On
motion,
Montero's motion, Mr. City Attorney, repeat the motion. Repeat the motion for us, just so we know that what's on record, sir.
Councilman Montero moved, and it was seconded by Councilman Patterson, and that is to have all 3 vans, but to test it until end of fiscal year. That would be June 30th of 2022, and come back before that date as an evaluation of how things are working out.
At the rates listed here, $540 per each day per each of the 2 vans, and the $740 for the diversion van.
Correct. By the terms in the Second Amendment. I will have to revise the Second Amendment to reflect the dates of ending at June 30th of 2022. So I will have to revise the terms of the agreement.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English,
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine,
No,
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes with Mayor Pro Tem Valentine voting no.
All right, guys. So I think this is a good opportunity. We had some concerns. Mr. Rambo, are you there?
I'm here.
And so you know that we're looking for data.
Yes.
Look, man, I'm a data-driven guy. I'm an engineer, and I also work at a school, and I also work with services, just like some of my other council member colleagues. We
Okay.
go by data, and
Okay.
ultimately, whether it's financial debt, or if it's results data as to how many people you serviced, how many people you would get off the streets,
Yes.
how many people were serviced medically or psychologically. All that's important.
Okay.
So, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. City Manager, did we give Mr. Rambo sufficient instruction on the data we're expecting them to have? Or
Yes,
I just don't want that to be something that later on we say that.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to get clarity on the reporting time. What is council looking for as far as reporting time of statistics?
Remember, colleagues, reasonable time?
By the second meeting in June, Mr. Norris, second meeting in June, we should have some data so that we can be able to decide if we want to continuing the program for the new fiscal year or not, right? And then, Mr. Rambo, please, when you do statistics, you try to bring us numbers, unduplicated numbers and non-duplicated numbers.
I understand.
So,
Okay.
so all those numbers and specifically the graph would show, how many people you
Yeah.
serve, how many people was case managed, how many people was a mental health, how many people referred to BHS or to housing or to any
Yeah,
type of
where they went.
service. Where
We'll
they
get
went,
that.
okay? And
We'll-
please, please contact me because I want to put you in touch with the South Bay COG because we have the homeless task force that is LA County, SPA 8,
Okay.
that would have a lot of resources.
In
okay?
regards to the date, Councilman Montero and Councilmember colleagues, based on the fact that we're looking to the fiscal year, which ends on June 30th, maybe that data should come in the first meeting in June so that we could make, because then
Get ready for it.
he's not gonna have a contract to work with to continue, if we decide to move forward. He's not gonna know what to do during the beginning of July.
July 1st, we can say he can start.
You're gonna have a special meeting for that? You're gonna have a special meeting for that?
We could.
Are there any comments from my council member colleagues on my suggestion or the date?
That makes sense to me, first meeting in June.
First meeting in June, right?
yeah, I
All
would
right.
agree with that.
I concur.
I would agree.
I don't wanna,
First meeting in June, but I want to give him a little bit more time.
We don't wanna have a lapse in him knowing how everything's coming along on our end.
The reason I was
Yeah.
thinking because today is the 25th, so I was going to give him exact almost 6 months of data.
I think, based on the contract point that it ends on on June 30th, I think it'd be wiser to just have something ready for him so he can know.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank
No
you, Mr.
problem.
Rambo. All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, everyone.
Let us know what
Thank you,
happens.
Mr. Rambo. Thank you
Thank
for,
you all.
endure our questions.
Mr. Mayor, I know several items were pulled in, but can we address item number 27 first? Because we have several consultants waiting to discuss that topic.
Go ahead. Do we have any questions for this item? We don't, we're not looking for a
By Miss
presentation.
English.
Go ahead, Councilmember Reyes English. Go ahead and
Thank you.
give your comments, ma'am.
You know, as most know, myself and Councilman Patterson came in during our swearing in, and this item was on the agenda, and it had no information. I didn't know anything about it, didn't know what the agreements were, didn't have any information. I had some concerns, just like I have concerns now with regards to an unsecured loan that we're providing this organization. I've been in the city long enough, and I have history, you know, that speaks to these types of programs and services that we've paid out money to, unsecured loans, and you know, has bit us in the behind. And so I'm a little cautious whenever I see loans being provided that are not secured. So that's my concern. I understand what they're trying to do with regards to providing housing. However, I just don't think that they were readily available to be the entity selected for this type of housing, especially knowing they didn't have the funding for it. So in a nutshell, that's my comment.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mayor, I need a specific amount. The staff is recommending 500,000 of the loan for pre-construction, pre-development loan. But the council, as the staff report indicates, it can vary from the amount of $245,091 all the way to $500,000. But the staff is recommending, and the nonprofit would need 500,000 to get an expeditious start on the pre-development spending.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, but we do have a comment from Councilmember Patterson, and we need to address the city attorney's comment right now. Go ahead, Mr. Patterson. Councilmember.
Thank you. To my understanding, the $207,000 number, because we need to spend that money ASAP or we'll lose it. But what's needed for the project is $500,000 to really make it go. And your recommendation is $500,000 in for the pre-development loan. And the balance of that, those funds we can use to rehab city-owned property. Is that correct?
It could. The city-owned property, the cap is 200,000 to rehabilitate the city-owned property. My understanding is, based on the reports that I've seen, that through ARPA, there's additional 500,000 to be spent on city-owned low-income properties. The excess surplus amount is why we need to spend this, because aside from the 200,000 that could be spent for rehabilitation of city-owned low-income property, it has to be used for development of extremely low-income property. And this is the only development project that we have. If we don't use it for that purpose, we will lose two things. Basically, the funds would go to back to HCD or another successor agency, or we would also lose the $1.5 million grant, a total of $3.5 million from HCD for purpose of this project that will provide 1.5 that will take care of the 1.5 million that this development will need as a loan from successor agency. This is not from general fund, it's from successor agencies, low mod fund.
Do we have a concurrence?
I would like to recommend whatever's left over after the council sets a number for this project is used for the city-owned properties and rehabbing that.
Yes, and that would be 200,000 from excess surplus.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are going with the 500, but if we're approximating that we'll have 200,000 left, correct?
Yes, there is total of 807,000 plus $572 of the excess surplus funds at this moment.
And that's staff recommendation and Councilmember Patterson's concurrence and our concurrence, right? Do we have any objection? Okay, so I'll amend my motion to include that amount. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Councilmember Montero. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects Mayor and Council voting yes, with Councilmember Reyes English voting no.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the city attorney's consent calendar.
Oh,
Mr. Mayor, we had additional items that
We
were.
have more items to be discussed.
Just a moment, let me cross out the appropriate ones. Item 23, Centennial event, go ahead.
oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to try to make some recommendation and suggestion to see if you guys can go along with me, okay? First, because I would like to thank the committee and the staff for putting this together, because I think, they've been working, doing diligent to put this stuff together. So thank you for bringing all these items and ideas to us. One recommendation that I have for Friday, July 8, 2022, because everything, the prices, food price, everything have gone up. I think, $200 per ticket is too low. So I would recommend for us to do $30 per ticket. Non-profit organization would pay $250 per table, and a corporation will pay $500 per table for dinner. Okay? And I would suggest, I don't know if the Mr. Mayor wants to think about it, instead of do the state of the city this spring and wait until July 8, 2022, and on that dinner, do the state of the city. So then you can give them the state of the city, what was going on in 2021, 22, and address the centennial, the 100 years. So we'll give a perfect platform that you can have your state of the city, okay? The second suggestion that I would recommend, because when you're thinking about, to do a parade soon after the 4th of July, this parade is supposed to be on July 9. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to organize a parade, because you have to get people involved. You have to have organization, business, to have the float, to have the cars, to have the cheerleaders, to have the bands, to have business clothes, have street clothes. I think it's a tremendous effort that I don't think it is time to do it. I would recommend for us to have just a block party right here in front of City Hall on 126. We'll close the Gravelia up to Hawthorne Boulevard and have a stage and have some type of carnival games, have food, music, firework in the parking lot instead of a parade. And then for us to think about maybe start to organize a Christmas parade on December 2022. Okay? So that's my recommendation. Can I have a concur?
Do we have any comments from Councilor Pat?
I'll
Sure,
comment.
works for me.
Yeah.
Sir, Councilor Patterson, you did have your hand up?
It was up from the last last item.
I think I'm gonna think about what you said about the my role for
State
that.
of the city, yeah.
Yeah, for that. So I'll think about that. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I appreciate you like mentioning the thing about the parade. But you know what? The parade has been missing. I know that it's time is ticking, but I've had emails from community members and conversations that what happened to the parade? What happened to the parade?
The Christmas parade. They keep asking for Christmas parade, Christmas parade, Christmas parade.
Well, guess what? A lot of other cities have Christmas parades, guys. That's not something that's going to be unique to Hawthorne. I would actually recommend a regular parade for another day, but I don't know. I just got this feeling that I think we should stick to this parade for our centennial, man. That's like 100
Let's think
years.
about it. I'm not opposing it, but
I
I'm
know.
just saying it's going to
And
take
that's my
a lot
2
of
cents.
effort.
That's my 2 cents, though. I just think it's just something that, look, if we need to, we have friends here in City of Lawndale that have had the Pirate Day parade, that we could talk to whoever helped organize that and just bring them to see if they can help us, maybe a small fee, consulting fee, whatever, and they can help us organize it here in the city. So if our staff is unfamiliar with how to organize that expeditiously, we can have somebody else assist us. I think we could, Mr. City Manager, you're very familiar with the people over there in Lawndale, right? You could make a call to see if they have people that could help us on their end, right?
Absolutely, I can.
And just to see also, and if that seems, hey, we got the person, we can help you. It takes this amount of time. And those consultants or whoever helped organize their parade, they say, you guys are good, you guys have enough time, we'll help you, we'll do it. And if they say, you know what, it's just like almost impossible, you guys are gonna be pulling hair out of your head, then we just don't do it. But I think if you make a call, that would be good.
I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should have the parade at the same time we have the celebration. We're having, it's a cohesive event. You're having dinner on Friday, the parade and block party on Saturday, day at the Memorial Museum, a day at the museum with pancake breakfast on Sunday, and then that was my other question. Why are we skipping Monday? But in any case, Tuesday, we're having the centennial ceremony at City Hall. I think it's a cohesive event. We think we have some spectacular events each day, and I think it makes it more attractive. Also, I was going to say, the car show is a great idea, and my thought was, there were people in the old days when we used to have car shows every year. There were people who knew how to organize that event. We need to get in touch with them. I know.
Do you have Mayor Larry Guida's number?
I was just going to say, we need
Pastor Cook have moved out of town.
Call Pastor Cookus and Mayor Guidi.
He moved out of town.
And get them to help us plan that car show. The car show was always a big draw.
Yeah,
It was a big draw. But
Yeah.
I like the idea of having the parade at the same time we have the rest of the celebration. It's a one cohesive event, and I think we can pull it off. And I think, there's nothing wrong with having a parade at another time, but I think it would just be perfect at this time.
Okay, we'll have a parade, but can we agree about the dinner price? Because it's too low.
Really?
Gonna bring it to what, $30?
Yes.
What was it before?
Because it's
you said the 25.
Look, it's 3-course meal. Come on, we need
thought
to
you said
be able to
25.
pay the catering.
Mr.
what about
Councilman
the-
Montero, didn't you mention, wasn't it 25 that you asked?
Well, if you want, you can go 25, but I said $30 right now. I said $20 right now, so I wanted to move to $30.
No, you had said 25. I thought.
Okay, so if you want 25, we'll go 25.
I'll make
But
a
what I
small
want to do
adjustment.
is the nonprofit will pay $250 for a table, and the corporation will pay $500 for a table.
Okay, that sounds
Can
good.
I have an amen?
I'd be
Somebody
willing.
say amen. Come on.
We're
Works
not
for
in
me.
church. We're not in church.
The true meaning of the word
Say
amen
amen,
is
Mr. Man.
I believe. I don't know. That doesn't co.
Say amen.
I concur.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No, I think it's a small adjustment, and it's very uniform.
Yes.
It's a very uniform 25 and times 10, which is usually a table has 10 spots. It's 250. It's not a big drastic boost for the corporations, but it's just it shows that there are businesses within the city at 500, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So nonprofit 250, corporation 500.
Okay.
And that's what they do. That's what they donate most of the time for tables, $500.
Do we have concurrence?
Yes.
Yes.
I just have a question.
We have 3 people. Go ahead, ma'am.
I know in the past that history, Mayor, we've had lots of parades.
Yes.
Maybe I missed it, but is the committee reaching out to maybe South Bay Ford for use of cars?
We're waiting for direction from council. So now that we have the right to plan the parade, we will reach out to South Bay Ford and other agencies that might have cars that we can use that day.
Yeah, Gary Primo has always been helpful in lending out vehicles for the parade, and he's been a partner, but you know, those parades ended because of funding. There wasn't enough money to do the Christmas parades and all this other stuff. So I'm sure there'll be some excitement among residents for a parade.
Mr. City Manager, make sure you get somebody to help us with this. We feel that we have an experience. We want to have somebody who has done this before. So first thing, maybe give us something by like a note to us. You can email us, give us an update by Thursday or Friday, whatever the last day is, after having called Lawndale, okay? Or any other, through your experience with the Parks and Rec department, I'm pretty sure you can reach out to other Parks and Rec colleagues and see what they've done for their parades and maybe get some assistance.
Not to toot my horn, Mayor, I've planned many parades in the past.
Whoa!
I've seen larger cities in Lawndale, so.
So what are you trying to say? Okay,
maybe they should call me.
Okay, but now I'm gonna make it beautiful.
Okay,
pray, go pray.
A man of many hats here.
Go pray, let's go. All
I
right, so I make a motion.
I have a further comment.
But it's, okay, go ahead. Comment.
Yeah, I was going to say that if we're doing a car show, we have many residents in the city with vintage cars. I can probably help give you some names, but I remember we had, again, we need to call on people who've done this before, the car show, because there are many residents in the car with really beautiful vintage cars, and they would be more than happy to be in the parade and to show their cars and have a car show. So we need to reach out to those people as well.
Okay. I second Councilmember Montero's motion, and you have a suggestion from Mayor Pro Tem Valentine. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects mayor and council members, excuse me, voting yes.
Okay, go ahead. The next item, please, for discussion that's left.
24.
24, go ahead.
Miss Valentine have questions.
Okay. 24 is the community choice aggregation accounts. Oh, and 100 was, yes. My question would be about, I have a concern about costs for the residents. So my question is basically, I understand that they will be, the increased cost would be 3.2%. And that they would always have the opportunity to opt down. However, based on conversations, based on comments that we had earlier in the evening, very few people ever opt down. They don't opt up and they don't opt down. They just don't whatever the council recommends will be basically what the choice will be, and that's what the residents will accept. So I have a comment about the 3.2% in an inflationary, and we have a 7% inflation rate. People are hurting with high gas prices. My first question is, why do we have to do this now? Is there some urgency about doing this now, making this decision now? I'd like to know that first.
Okay, I can answer that, Ms. Valentine.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, there is no urgency, but the reason is the fact that right now, the difference between the clean and the 100% is the lowest it has been. In the past, it used to be like almost like 9%. But now, like you pointed out, is around 3.25%. But our customers, if they go to 100%, they're gonna pay cheaper than Edison's rate that's gonna go up 6% in March. And this increase of the 100% will not take effect until October of 2023. It's not going to be automatically. Even if we vote today, the 100% is not going to be like tomorrow. They're going to have, it will have a process the way it goes, the transformation. So right now, the reason that we want to go to 100% is because the clean energy, it will be lower rate per kilowatts than Edison rates. So people of Hawthorne actually is going to see a decrease in their bills if we go to 100%. And the other thing to keep in mind, the low-income families do not pay, they will get 100% green, but they will still pay the lowest rate. Because the Clean Power Alliance will subsidize those increase for the low-income families of Hawthorne. And you know we have a lot of those. So they're not gonna see an increase in their bills, to tell you the truth.
Councilmember.
Only those people that make very wealthy, that they're gonna see that 3.2% increase.
My
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
second question is, how has the community been informed about this? Have we?
Well, that is why, Ms. Van Dyne, it's not gonna take place immediately.
Excuse
me. That's why it's gonna take almost 2 years.
Just let her finish the question, and then you can respond. Go ahead.
What efforts have we made to reach out to the community to inform them about about the increased change in their rates?
Every family in Hawthorne have received one of these cards about Clean Power Alliance, about Edison's. Everybody, I received one in my home. I received one at my MGI office. I've received one at the Hawthorne Moose Lodge office. I've received one at the castle. 4 different places. And a lot of people have called in the last time and this time to support because they understand what is at stake for us to have clean energy. And they're going to get on a cheap rate, a discount rate.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, good.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so that's the rate that it's going to be now. Will it remain at this rate, or will it be increased in the future?
We do have a representative from the Clean Power Alliance here at the meeting, so.
And also it depends on the market rate. It depends on the energy price, Mr. It's a free market. It depends on the rates of the market, the energy market. But
the rates we get, the rates that we vote on tonight may not be the rates next year. Is that what you're saying?
It might not be because it depends. If let's say if we got a tremendous short of energy, or the solar panels get mixed up in the desert, or the windmills doesn't work correctly, the energy price will fluctuate. Like Edison have to buy energy every year. That's the reason that their price is going to go up, and our price actually is going to go down.
So may I?
Just a quick question. Mayor Pro Tem, are you finished?
Yes. Yeah, that is better informed than me.
No, but the real quick question, if I understand and appreciate Councilmember Montero's comment that if Edison's gonna increase by 6%, and if we increase it by 3%, we're gonna actually be under what they're gonna eventually charge. Why wasn't that? I know you have those cards that you get, but why wasn't that part of the staff report, that 6% increase, to justify our being able to move that up? Mr. City Manager?
I don't think Edison have even sent that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Edison have even not sent those prices up yet, right? But Ted also can talk about that if we go for 100, if we vote 100% tonight, this is not going to take effect until October.
No, I know, but
okay,
Councilmember Montero, you said that it's going to go up by 6% and we're going to increase it by 3%. To me, that's a mathematical slam dunk for me. But where's the proof of the 6% increase? I mean, Mr.
Hey, Ted, let Ted speak, please.
Do you have something you can confirm that, Mr. Ted?
Yes. So let me pick this apart a little bit. Currently, all of our rates are more expensive than Edison. This is the first time in our 4-year existence that that has happened. On March 1st, we will go from being between 6 and 9% more expensive to between 8 and 5% less expensive without doing anything, because Edison's rates are going up and the PCIA exit fee goes down. So the combination of that will swing the competitiveness in our favor quite significantly. In July or in June, the Clean Power Alliance Board will consider our annual rates. We do that every June for implementation in July. I don't expect us to be that much cheaper than Edison. We will probably have to raise rates a little bit, but the difference between what your customers are paying now, what 95% of your customers are paying now, which is on the lean power rate, and the increase to clean power will be, in that 3% range. So what the Mayor Pro Tem was asking, which I think is totally valid, which is people don't change very much. You're right. People don't switch electricity providers based on one mailer or one decision. They look at the long-term trends. We've been the most competitive for 3 years. We've had a hiccup this year based on some market events, and we will be, again, very much in range. I can't give you a specifics because we do need to watch what the markets do. So that's what I do know is that the differential because renewable energy is getting much cheaper, the differential between the lean power rate, which 95% of your customers are on right now, and the 100% green rate will be within that, 3 to 4% range that it is now. And that's really what folks will experience, with the exception of 44% of your customers who are on low-income programs who do not see a rate increase when you change to a 100% default. Because we, as an organization, provide that 100% clean energy at that rate.
Thank you.
That lower
Ms. English, you have a question.
Hi there, Ted. Good to see you.
Hi.
So I think also what's being missed here is California Clean Power Alliance has always has had a goal of procuring energy at a lower cost than Edison. That has always been the goal. And just like anything, it fluctuates in the market, and that has been said. However, the other flip side to this, I think that folks need to understand too, Edison pays itself, it pays its investors, and it's making money over and over and over, however you see it. Edison has programs and services that is being provided to those that can't do, in this case, helping pay their bill, whether there's a rebate there, whether there's an adjustment based off of their income for families, and usually it goes by, a disability, how many members in the household, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the whole idea of us joining as an aggregation back in 2020, and we were one of the first cities to do that after the feasibility study that LA County made and showed how affordable and how ultimately the 31 cities that joined in that time was to address the need to bring our energy costs down. And so when we did that, that was the whole goal. I, at the time when I was on the board, was inquiring about 100% renewables. And I was being advised by staff that that was too costly to us and that was not the time. And that, at the very beginning of those times, we needed to select our level, at what level we would be, right? And I think we chose like 30, 35, something like this. And then today, 4 years moving forward, I cannot believe it's been 4 years. It's unbelievable. We have ultimately built up a great program, a great service, and it's paying back, again, the communities that are aggregates and have ultimately joined Clean Power. So as much as we have concerns of, again, the cost and not the guarantee that we're going to be procuring at a lower cost, there's times we're going to be even higher than maybe Edison. Those are just some of the things that we have to realize and see that those are the challenges we're going to be making. But the whole idea here, again, was being able to bring back some of those monies that we're paying for our energy to come back to the community. And that was important for me. That was the main reason I chose, to be part of aggregation and to show that we are building and making programs to address those in need. So 100% renewable, I think for the most part, out of the 32 or 31 cities that we have, most of them, if not near all, are going 100% renewable. And I have seen that in many cities. And I think for the most part, it's probably, we're headed in a good direction. And I think this is just something that we're just gonna have to work on as far as getting the information out to the community. We have been doing that. I have received mailers too. And most folks are not, understanding what that means, especially in Latino communities that don't have, the language, let alone the resources to look at what that means, right? It's a component of how we're trying to educate them. But at the end of the day, they're benefiting from it, and they might not even know it. So I just wanted to give my comments there. I trust Councilmember Montero and his role in his leadership with the board. I think this is a long time coming. Again, we did try to do this over 4 years ago and suggested that we not do it at the time. So the question remains still, when is that time? When is a good time?
Today.
So I'll leave it. I'll leave it at. I'll leave
We
it
have
at,
a motion?
Hold on, Ted. Let me ask Ted just a quick question. Ted, just tell the council that even we vote today, but this will not take effect until when?
Yeah, so it would take place in October of this year. And on the communication side, in addition to the annual notices that we and Edison send out, there will be 2 separate mailers specifically about the default change, very clearly articulating what people's choices are and how they can choose to remain on the rate that they're on, or even opt out. It's another opportunity for them to opt out and remain with and go back to Edison. So the first mailer would be going out in September ahead of the default change, and then the second one would go out in November after the default change, but before people receive their bills, to remind them that this happened, and if they hadn't elected to make a decision, that they still have that opportunity and they remain having that opportunity in perpetuity. We also will work with the city on social media and in multiple languages. I know we've do most of our stuff in Spanish as well, but I know you have a strong Filipino community, so we'll be looking at Tagalog and other languages as appropriate.
Thank you, Ted. I made the motion.
I'll second.
I got the second on that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I just make one last comment?
Go ahead, man.
Can we add? Don't we have a Clean Power Alliance page on our website? We created that back in 2017.
A link.
Yeah, there's a link there, but we have a question regarding the, you know, our choice.
Well, yeah, well, let's make that suggestion right now after we do a roll call.
Yeah.
Because that's not necessarily part of the motion, but you, go ahead, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson, Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Mr. City Manager, can you respond to Councilwoman English's?
Yeah, no,
Absolutely. I'll take a look. I do remember seeing that page, but what we can do moving forward with this direction that we just received, we can update a page with all current knowledge of this directive that was given by staff.
thank you.
And thank you, colleagues, for your vote of confidence. Appreciate it.
And you know what, ultimately, again, I don't mean to refer to, when you have a contract, when you have rates, it's the consumer's responsibility to read what they're signing or read what they're, paying. You know, they have the option to opt out. If people haven't been taking that, then.
Yeah, and Mr. Mayor, let me say that I want to thank those people who call in favor for us to support the 100% green, especially the mayor of Manhattan Beach, Ms. Stern, and the former mayor of the Sierra Madre, and also the city of Ohio that call in to support us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney's consent calendar, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have one item on the consent calendar. It's a invoice for assessment by California State Department of Industrial Relations, and we're seeking approval for the payment in the amount of $70,848.68, and also to approve a purchase order for that amount.
I move.
Second.
We'll go to Councilmember Montero. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Reyes English,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes. I'm sorry, did we do item 27?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that was at the beginning. Okay, that's right.
You'll find some of the information when you watch the video. So yeah, we did.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, discussion action items. Councilwoman Reyes English, city-owned properties, maintenance and repairs. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. There was already some discussion about some of the monies from HARPA and some other funding, existing monies that we have. And I had wanted to just address how we could make some of this money available for our existing properties. So in a nutshell, just want to direct staff, whatever money, if it's 200,000 or whatever is there, to make an assessment on the properties and ultimately start rehabbing some of those properties, which is important, especially as I mentioned previously, increasing rents on those properties to bring them to current value or current rent numbers. We just need to make sure that those properties have the rehab and have those services, or however you want to call it, which would be, the building itself is sustainable, and whatever assistance is needed to bring that up, to use those monies available to do that. So that's my directive. And if you could just keep us abreast as to what has been occurring since that, after the assessment's been made and those properties have been evaluated as to what is needed. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that recommendation. Councilmember Patterson, selection of Mayor Pro Tem. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just under the impression that we are rotating the Mayor Pro Tem, are not rotating, but making a new selection annually.
Okay, so that happens when we do all the reassignments. We all the assignments to all the commissions. So if you want to set a date, a council, we can set a date maybe for the first meeting in February, so we're not too far away from January. What do my council colleagues feel about that?
Yeah, we're supposed to be having the list, right? For to all the communities that we sit and assign.
Yeah, for the next meeting, we could sit down, you guys can read through it, see where you're at, see if you like what you're doing. See if you'd like to repeat it, and then we could make those selections, and we could also address the mayor pro tem.
Okay, and we put that on the agenda for the first meeting in February?
Yeah, we can make that official, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't let that go too far, so.
I concur.
Okay, so that'll be coming up at the next meeting. All right. Is that okay, Councilmember Patterson, since you brought this one up? I don't want to.
Yes, sir. That sounds like a plan. We got a plan.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, since you brought it up, I don't want to move on to something if you hadn't completed your thoughts. Item 33, elected officials reports. We're doing pretty good with time. I think we're almost finished. We don't have any closed sessions, so let's close this out. City Treasurer, where are you?
Good evening, everyone, council. Just kind of touch, I really like the stop bullying presentation. I think it's really important showing people not to bully or to be bullied. And what was the other thing? I'm excited about the PARS, pension, the Section 115 thing that we can start putting some of Hawthorne's money into something besides, fixed investments, which are not so great. And it's, it sounds like a real great opportunity to put some capital to work in a more useful fashion. And then I'm just working on the cash management policy. And yeah, it looks like, wow, we haven't been in the council in so long, or I don't think I've ever been in a council meeting that wasn't on Zoom. Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever get back there, but be kind of neat to see the council in the flesh. And I'll leave it at that. Cheers.
Thank you, sir. Any comments do we have our elected city clerk on board? Okay. Do we have any comments from his office?
No, there's no comments at this time.
Nothing he relayed through you? Okay, well, thank you for your service today, Ms. Diana and Ms. City Clerk Carmen Avalos. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So let's move on to, I want to make sure, I'm going to start off with Councilmember David Patterson today.
Been forgetting me.
No,
yeah. A couple things. First, want to thank the community for calling in, making your voices heard. We appreciate you. It is not relevant if your positions are popular or not popular, supported or not supported. What's important is that you feel comfortable calling in and making your voices heard. So appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that's paying attention to this council meeting. I think I've looked at past postings on YouTube. I think we probably get maybe 150 views. So appreciate all those views. Maybe some real controversial council meetings might be 500 views. I want to thank staff and for all your hard work. I know it's challenging with COVID. I don't know if you guys know, or some of you guys do. Of course, some in the public may not know that I work for the city of Carson. We're back to telecommuting because of what's happening with COVID. And so with just all the stuff going on, definitely be challenging to kind of, to stay motivated and get all your work done and all that stuff. So definitely want to commend everybody for their hard work and their commitment to the city. City couldn't be anything without staff. Let's see. Last council meeting, the city attorney made a presentation about Charter City. There were some questions I know I had asked. I was hoping that you can maybe the next council meeting come back with some responses to some of the questions I asked, and maybe some of the questions some other council people asked. One thing that I do want to ask that is addressed, I believe it was stated that if the city decided to do something like that, we can be as specific or as broad as we want. We can default most of everything to the general law, and with the exception of some specific areas. So I don't know if you can come back and speak about that. There's some specific areas I would like to hear more about. The idea of being charter. These are going to be how we select commissioners and commissions. elections, how we do zoning, and how we pass ordinances. Maybe we have a subject matter expert come out and kind of talk about that. I know there's been a number of cities around the South Bay that have instituted charters. Curious to know if you can let us know what type of charters that our neighboring cities have done. You know, have they done full charters? Have they done specific charters? Have they, you know, just targeted some certain areas and default the rest to general law? Just would like to know what, you know, what else, what specifically what other cities are doing in that respect. I got a call over the weekend from one of our favorite community members, Gordon Michael Migo. I know you guys miss him so much. I asked him why don't he call in to the council meeting? He's not very comfortable with the Zoom process and calling in through this process. He would like us to get back to in-person council meetings. And I told him that I would relay his message to the public. He also mentioned that he wanted us to look into charter cities. He also mentioned he would like us to consider what some of our neighbors cities are doing, or I believe they're suing the state regarding SB 9 and 10, or 8, 9, and 10. He wanted us to consider doing the same thing or jumping on board or whatnot. And what else did he want me to mention? And of course, he mentioned, you know, he would like for us to take some kind of decisive action in terms of the mall and make sure that's converted to shopping, dining, and entertainment. And so I promised him I would share his thoughts to the council and to the public. Some months ago, I asked for a forensic audit of the city attorney's office. I would like to get the results of said audit presented to the council. You know, just bring us up to date, you know, see if there's anything interesting that came out of that. And lastly, I don't know if you guys heard, there's a business that's I believe is operating in Hawthorne or founded in Hawthorne by the name of Stellar Pizza. Has anybody ever heard of Stellar Pizza?
Yeah, I went to visit, yeah.
I've never heard of them, and I heard them, I was just made aware by a third party, and I felt embarrassed. I had no idea. This is a business that's founded by a former SpaceX employee, and I don't think they're fully open up for business, but they've been making some waves. They've been talked about in the media and in the paper. And I don't really have a suggestion or a specific ask, but, you know, I would like for this not to happen to me, right? I would like to know, right, what's happening in the city in terms of the businesses that are opening and being founded, and you know, I think it'd be great to be a lot more in the know of the businesses that are growing in our city. And also, you know, I'm hoping that the ad hoc committee that I'm on with Mr. Montero, that we can really figure out how we can specifically like attract new businesses and help new businesses and support the growth of these startups and things like that. You know, I don't want it to be something that kind of happens and I kind of find out about it, but something that we have a real strategy in place to cultivate business growth in the city of Hawthorne. So, you know, whatever suggestions staff and council have about that, love to hear it, but something that I'm definitely interested in having happen in our city. But that's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Councilmember Patterson. Councilwoman Reyes English, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to make mention that there's testing happening here at the Hawthorne Memorial Center at the parking lot. I did participate the first day of their opening on the 18th, and I did test. I was actually quite impressed. I tested about 9:30, and by 9:43, I had my results. It's required for me as an employee of the city of Los Angeles that I test weekly. So I'm glad I did that. Let me just make mention real quickly, best wishes to Carmen Avelos, our city clerk, that is leaving us and has accepted a new post. Congratulations to her in her new endeavors. I wish her well. I also want to make mention that our cannabis program is moving along, and we're working hard and diligent to assure the next part of the cannabis program, which is the outreach. And I'm sure there will be great participation in that. And I want to know, Robert, how we could possibly get separate emails maybe to each member on the board. I know we have one general email for the public, but we'll look into that. You know, and some of the remarks that were made, people need to understand that we are Hawthorne. We're roughly 89,000 people in a 6.5 radius in space. So unlike some of these other cities that were made mention, the program, yes, there's a lot of bad actors, and it's my hope that, you know, we're going to be assuring that that doesn't happen because it's a little bit a different approach that we're going to be making. So look forward to that in having our ongoing cannabis meetings every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. I want to ask staff where we at with the businesses that are boarded up along the boulevard. There still seems to be a lot of businesses that have not put glass on their business. It's all boarded up. It looks, you know, a little, I would say, not so great. Driving the boulevard and seeing businesses, if we could look into that and see how we're moving along to get those businesses to comply. What else is happening? Wanted to see how we could maybe work on providing a meal to our seniors, and that's still ongoing discussion for the Valentine holiday, seeing how maybe we could have between other organizations and groups that I've spoken to, ultimately provide a meal to our seniors. And so that's something I'm currently working on, along with Councilmember Montero, and anyone else is welcome to join us. We're looking on how we could provide a turkey meal by seniors calling and registering for that and assuring that that meal is delivered to their home. Due to COVID and other concerns, we can't anticipate providing that in person. So we're looking at resources on how we could work on making an event, a Valentine event for our seniors. Other than that, Mayor, that should do it. Good meeting tonight. Thank you to all staff. We have some new people in our offices, HR, and I'm sure some other staff that I have yet to get to be introduced to, but congratulations to those, and great efforts, and look forward to working with you all. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Montero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great meeting. First, I want again, congratulate, Jason Caraveo for his outstanding leadership to the community and dedication to it. I want to thank Ms. Maloney and the Hawthorne School District to keep the bullying, anti-bullying contest every year. So it's a good thing that we have people over there taking care of the children, make sure they don't bully each other. I want to thank again Mr. Fernandez Guido and Tomatame for to come to give us a presentation about the Super Bowl and about the safety of our streets and what's going to happen at the Super Bowl on February 13. I want to thank Mr. Alan Loom from the Public Works. We went for a ride together to look at some of our intersections and some streets, about lights and about some accidents that's been happening on some of our streets, and also talking about the T parking and stuff like that. So I can better understand when people start asking questions about why the light is like that, why the intersection like that. So at least I can be informed and give positive and effective answer. And also I want to commend for finally we're going to get the Measure M funding for the Crenshaw project, because I understand there was a lot of people a long time ago keep asking about for us to put a second turning lane from Crenshaw to 120 going east. So I think this will be part of that of that project for Crenshaw. So thank you for the grant, and also thank you Public Works again for applying for the Cal Recycle grant that will bring money for us to outreach to our constituent about the new program about recycling and the waste management. Also, the South Bay COG and the City of Hawthorne for us to get the grant, you know, through the measure H to provide more service for homeless, especially with those with alcohol and drug abuse programs. So thank you for all these good programs that's coming for the City of Hawthorne. So I appreciate all the effort. That I believe, you know, we are on the right track. We got a good team. Our staff has been doing an outstanding job, from the city manager office to the city attorney to the public works to the parks and recs, to the HR to business. So all of them are working just in vision to make the city work, especially on this COVID-19. And I'm glad to see that we got the bids for the Holly Park and the Jim Thorpe Park improvement project. That's coming soon. So those are beautiful things that's happening for the city. Let me mention about the gentleman that called about the marijuana and cannabis program. I would recommend to be a little bit more educated, because if you understand the city of Hawthorne, the constituents have voted twice. One was to legalize marijuana. The second, about 61% voted yes for us to put a 5% increase on cannabis program if we create a cannabis program in the city of Hawthorne. So the people of Hawthorne have gave us a mandate that we should not just sit down and do nothing. And that is why we got elected, to make tough decisions, to bring more dollars into Hawthorne and make cannabis program safe in the city of Hawthorne. And when you're talking about the 135th Street at Inglewood, that is the county side, that Weisburn side. It's not city of Hawthorne. And that is what I was one of the first people calling the county about that location. Because one of my office is right there on the corner, 132nd and Inglewood, the Hawthorne Moose Lodge. I'm there almost every night. So I know what's been going on that corner, because I keep vigilant over there. So, and the homeless, the reason they're there, because right now the building is safe, because it's empty, because they were there illegal. The marijuana there was illegal because the county of Los Angeles have not gave no license to nobody to open cannabis program. So when they close them down, that is where the homeless move over there. Even the homeless sometimes sleep in the doorstep of the Hawthorne Moose Lodge, and we open 7 days a week. So don't blame the cannabis and homeless in the same bit, because that is a wrong message that you guys are sending out there. I just want to mention, like us, we having a vaccination. The Hawthorne School District is having vaccination at the Zella Davis Elementary School. First dose is Wednesday, January 26th, from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. To all students and families that live in Hawthorne can go to Zella Davis School, located at 13435 South Yukon. First dose, Wednesday, January 26th, 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. And then the second dose on Wednesday, February 16, from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. You can have Johnson & Johnson's, 18 plus, booster, Moderna. So you can go to Zella Davis on January 26th and February 19. And also, if it's a big line at the Barry Ainsworth parking lot for testing, COVID testing, the Prairie Vista South, that is the Hawthorne School District, located at 13928 Combloom Avenue, 13928 Combloom Avenue, Prairie Vista South, have free testing from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday to Friday. Okay, so this is all COVID tests that's happened in our city. And of course, we are looking also to do vaccination in the near future. I believe that's what I have, Mr. Mayor. Like, again, I want to thank the staff and all the people that presented tonight. And thank you for those of you who call in again for the 100% green power, especially the Mayor Stone from Manhattan Beach, the Sierra Madre, and the Sierra Club, Mr. that sent us a letter, David Hackey, and the people from the last time, Martha Gomez and Mr. Contupi, calling in favor of 100%. So thank you for your support and thank you for your vote. And we need clean power. We need to get rid of these gas emissions because the environment is suffering. So good night and God bless.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended several meetings over the past month, and I'm just going to give you a brief report on some of the results. So at the South Bay Association of Chambers of Commerce, there was considerable interest and discussion concerning the new supervisorial districts. I found that also at the South Bay COG. These new supervisorial districts have already taken effect. Janice Hahn lost some South Bay cities, which were moved from District 4 to District 2. And Holly Mitchell gained some cities. Now, the ones Janice Hahn lost were Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and Redondo Beach. Supervisor Hahn retained Torrance, Palos Verdes Peninsula, and Lomita, and she also picked up some cities in Southeast Los Angeles County. The report from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is that it is opposed to the Build Back Better proposed legislation, which it views as inflationary and cradle-to-grave government, and it also opposes changing the filibuster rule. The League of California Cities report, I heard at the SBACC meeting, it was given by Jeff Kiernan. The Cal City strategic priorities for 2022 will include increasing the supply of affordable housing, 2, attaining investments to strengthen and sustain critical infrastructure, 3, increasing funding to prevent homelessness and assist those experiencing homelessness, and 4, strengthening disaster preparedness and recovery. I attended the West Basin Municipal Water District meeting, and the snowpack is at 151% of normal. That is good news, but it does not mean that the drought is over. Our storage capacity is still lower than normal. Hawthorne Business Expo 2022. The last time I reported on that, we were planning to hold the event outdoors. Well, there was such a surge in the Omicron variant of COVID-19 that we decided to postpone the event, hopefully far enough out that the public will feel safe. Our new event dates are April 26th and 27th with the exact same format. The program and seminars will be on day 1, April 26th, and the exhibition will be on April 27th, day 2. More reporting on West Basin. West Basin will have a rain barrel distribution event this Saturday, April 29th at the Edward C. Lytle facility, 1935 South Hughes Way in El Segundo. If you need a rain barrel, they are free, but you need to get there early because the lines will form starting at 8 a.m. Also, West Basin is having a student art contest. It is now open for submissions. Students in grades 3 through 12 are encouraged to apply. The theme this year is Water is Life. The artwork is due by March 18th. And again, you can contact them at, for that, you need to contact them at their Carson facility, which is the headquarters. And that is basically all I have. Have a good week, everyone.
Okay. Are there any go backs? Because I'm gonna go straight through and end the meeting. Are there any go backs from any of my colleagues? There's people that smile because they know.
I think we're tired.
No, okay, are you guys sure? You guys, I'll give you guys the opportunity. Now, I just really want to close the meeting. But, okay, so my comments. The first one is the SB9. I know there are some cities that are suing, and I think it was mentioned by one of my colleagues, and it's something I had wanted to talk. And I guess we, remember we talked about policy, I get 2 directives. So I would like for one of my directives to be that we look at jumping on board that lawsuit, what it entails, what our commitment to that would be, see what the financial commitment to that would be. Mr. City Manager? You hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, you are capturing, yeah, and along with our city attorney. So I mean, I think, you know, being a contract, basically a charter city, I don't think helps protect us from that. So I think that we need to take a look to see what Torrance is doing along with Carson, I believe, and I think it's Inglewood, or I forgot what other city is part of that. So we could just jump on board. Can you take a look at that?
I'll submit a legal confidential on the issues involving that lawsuit and whether whether it's worthwhile as a general law city to jump in on the lawsuit.
Are these charter cities?
Yes, those are charter cities.
Okay.
So the issue is whether SB9, as worded in the legislation, whether in fact that does in fact cover statewide concern or whether this is municipal affairs. That's what the lawsuit is on.
The Torrance one, right?
Well, I think most of the cities in this lawsuit are charter cities. And they're arguing that this is the legislation is not statewide concern, it's municipal affairs. So therefore, chartered cities, this is within the scope of local issues.
So no, but there are 2 sets. There are 2 lawsuits that are out there consisting of 2 different sets of cities.
So I'll look into it since we're general law.
Yeah.
City now.
One of them may be that issue, but the other one is generally kind of cities like us that are are ours that are trying to protect themselves. Okay. Can you take a look and how soon could you get something like that to us?
I'll try to do it by next council meeting.
By next council meeting? Yeah, if you could do that and just give us some conclusive things that we could do or should do so that we could just do things expeditiously, please.
Sure.
Okay, the next directive I have is with regards to the little cards. How many of you guys see those little cards that say call this number so you can sell your car or sell your car for parts? Every other day you see these cards on your the side window slid right there. When you walk up to your car, what's your natural reaction? I put it inside ready to throw away, but you end up walking up and down the street, you have all these being thrown down on the ground. So these people are, first of all, it's illegal to do that. And then second, it becomes like a nuisance because this is trash that's being thrown on the ground because people are frustrated seeing that. They throw it on the ground. They shouldn't. But the whole premise is, the gist of the whole thing is that they shouldn't be doing that. So, Mr. City Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, we've been this
I brought this address.
It's been addressed
already.
There is a specific case
Right.
on the constitutional right to leave that, so there really isn't much that the city can do on that issue.
Yeah.
Mr. Kim, can you speak about our ordinance regarding a permit to actually handbill in the city of Hawthorne?
They're not permitted, these guys, man. These guys are just people from other cities that don't have permits.
If there is an ordinance that prohibits leaving leaflets like that on the cars, that will be contrary to the court's opinion on the First Amendment rights. So I'll look for whether we do have an ordinance or not, but as far as I know, we went this road before, and the city really does not have the power to prohibit that.
Can you bring that? Can you reproduce that, please?
Sure,
Okay.
I'll do that.
And if that's the case, and if we can see the avenue in which to do something, I think everybody on the council is agreeing that that's a nuisance, so.
Yeah, right. Do you remember, Mayor, when I had an item on the agenda regarding leaflets?
Yeah, we all talked about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, you
But-
brought it
but
on.
what I was, right, but what I was told was that they could actually pull a permit and do that. That's what I was.
Exactly. No,
And
but
then, and then on a flip note to that, code enforcement actually would call those folks that are leaving those business cards and advised them that they weren't allowed to do that as a warning. And most of them, if not all of them, stopped doing that. So there's flip side to that.
Yeah, I know, and that's the conflicting aspect, because we were having people call, and like you're saying, but now our city attorney's telling us that we have had like some legal precedent that says that we can't be, we couldn't have been doing that anyways. So
it was giving us a memo. I think Russell sent us a memo on that, but on that particular case.
So let's
we cannot. Yeah, it's like about First Amendment rights.
Let's take a look at that.
I remember.
Let's take a look at that. And if you could just reproduce that, at least even if it's just for me, or for the rest of the council, just so everybody could look at it, and then I could see if, oh, hey, I can challenge this or not. Okay?
I'll take it.
Yeah, everybody, just for everybody, please. Mayor Pro Tem, do you have your hand up for something?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead. Just
This
do it
is
right
not,
now.
this is not a go back. It's in addition to something you said. On SB 9 and SB 10, I would like for us to also look at whether we can tailor our or we can write an ordinance or tailor one of our ordinances to make sure that we can limit the effects of SB 9 and SB 10, because we will start seeing developers making attempting to make developments in single-family neighborhoods, of multifamily housing in single-family neighborhoods, now that they have the green light. So I'd like to ask the city attorney to look and see what we can do to limit their ability to do that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. So that's her one request. Okay. So wishing telehealth good luck on their future term of their contract here, so we can get some good results that we can see and put up on the screen. Businesses are opening, and I don't think, what I was thinking, what Councilmember Patterson said, oh, let us know, because we're not hearing about these. The reality is there's a lot of businesses that are opening up without us knowing, and that's sort of a good thing, that they are opening, they're lining up. They might not be the fancy businesses that you have in some other cities, but they're good, honest mom and pop stores that are, getting people, having people employed, delivering a good product. We saw that ice cream store that opened up over here on Hawthorne in 118. We're talking about this pizza shop. There's, I believe, another brewery that's, in the pipeline. There's a lot of little things. So it's proof that they're, that we're doing pretty darn good when it comes to businesses moving into Hawthorne, and that's because of staff, great efforts, and the environment that this council has developed in the community, that people do want to move here. So that's kudos to my city council member colleagues.
And Mr. Mayor just mentioned that the Pizza Stella, actually, it's the pizza is made by robots. Because like Mr. David Patterson mentioned about the SpaceX guys, they're all engineering, computer genius. so it is, but it is a phenomenon. And believe me, the pizza tastes pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I got two more items. This has happened where there are food stands that are illegal food stands and taco stands opening up within residential streets. I'm not even talking on Inglewood, on Prairie, or on Imperial, or El Segundo, or Rosecrest. I'm talking actual residential streets. So the fruit stands too, the ones that sell the fresh fruit or whatever. And these are not permitted. There is a process, and that needs to be respected. Okay? And so I have received calls from residents that are concerned. I've relayed those to our city staff, the police department, and our code enforcement. And I want to give kudos to them for acting on that and enforcing the laws that we have. Okay? And to keep on doing that. The next one is very important for me, because I've received, this has happened in the last couple of years, 2-3 years. even before COVID-19, you know, started coming around, my concern is that there's residents that have been contacting me saying that the apartments that they're renting are being let go. You know, basically that it's turning into a slum. The living conditions are just unbearable. That the owners are not making improvements or addressing just simple maintenance concerns that they have. So my fear is that the city of Hawthorne has its whatever amount of slumlords, but that there are people out there that are just not taking care of their properties and taking care of the renters, yet they're charging exorbitant amounts. That's not true of all landowners, but the ones that are, shame on them. And I really feel for all these residents, but they do call us, asking us to take action on that and to help them. But the reality, and I know that Councilwoman English and I, even since we got elected, right, Councilwoman English, and I think even the Mayor Pro Tem, and now we have Councilmember Montero who has experience with these things, and Councilmember Patterson. I'm pretty sure everybody's gotten those calls, and that's really between the tenant and the owner. But we do have, it really is. And unfortunately, we wish we could just go in and, you know, make things right for them, but we simply can't because that's a private matter at that point. But what I do want to highlight what I do want to ask staff, if there is anything that we can do with regards to code violations that these apartment owners are violating by not taking care of their properties. I mean, let's not make things easy for them. I know we have an overabundance of apartments and apartment owners that, you know, most likely live up in PV in these Beverly Hills and Orange County. You know, they just own properties, you know, and just let them go. And I also want to highlight that we do have a resource, which is the Housing Rights Center, the major one that we contract with to be able to help the residents who run into these situations. And we pass them along to them, and they're the ones that can help make things right. They're the ones that could help give the tenants legal resources on how to address things with their landowners. So we do have that information. Let me see, let me get that number.
And the health department, Mr. Mayor, because the housing rights centers is much more about discrimination. It's not based upon.
Well, that too. But
yeah,
I
but
can
the
imagine
health department, you have to call LA County Health Department is the one.
Do you have that number?
Wow.
I'm gonna give the housing rights.
Yeah, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's the LA County Health Department, the one in Inglewood. They're the one who have to go and inspect they should do annual inspection of all the apartments.
Okay, well then you have Councilmember Montero's suggestion, which is direct to these living conditions aspect, and also the raising of the rent, which is also something we do have. The state has certain percentages that the landowner
5%.
can raise it every year, which is 5%. And sometimes some of these landowners, apartment owners, just kind of don't respect that. So for those purposes, you can call Housing Rights Center, which is 1-800-477-5977. That's 1-800-477-5977. And what was the other one? The health department?
Health department, LA County Health Department, and also for the legal, they can call the Los Angeles Legal Aid Foundation.
Well, let's see. Okay, so the Los Angeles County Health Department's number in Inglewood is 310-338-3200. So 310-338-3200. Okay, so at least you guys have two numbers there that we can pass that on to you. And Vaughn, as my second directive, could you please just maybe compile that for when people have issues with their with the landowners, with the apartment owners, please? Can you just compile those 2 or 3 numbers that we were talking about right now?
Yes, where would you like to see that information distributed among the council members, or do you want it to be placed on the website?
On the website,
Okay.
you know, easy to locate tab, because we do get a lot of calls, and I'm happy to help, but unfortunately on those issues we can't help, and we can't get it. We can't get involved because we don't have any jurisdiction. So that's it, guys.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, you want to thank the chief for sending us this,
Yeah.
thanks for,
Thank you, the chief. You know, we got a nice little, how many gigs is this probably?
32.
Oh, that'll do some damage. That's good. All right, guys. So the meeting was a good one. Oh, and then the last thing, I know this is, my time's almost up. We just need some of the residents to just kind of really, I know some people get passionate about whatever their ideas are, but I do agree they have to be educated on what they're talking about. And only because then that kind of, it doesn't make the argument stand or carry any weight, because people out there that are watching the meetings, a lot of them have been following the developments with regards to the different issues, especially cannabis, and they know that we're too far along to be able to go back and backtrack and.
It's misleading information, that's what it is. It's misleading.
Oh, yeah,
It's fake information, it's wrong information.
Fake, what? Fake news?
There you go.
Wait a minute.
You know what I mean.
Councilwoman English, what's
You know
going
what I
on?
mean,
Fake
yeah.
news? Fake news?
You know what I
Okay.
mean.
Yeah, you said fake news, I thought. I'm just teasing. Okay, guys, that's it. Good meeting. This meeting is now adjourned at
Good night. Thank
9:29.
you.
9:29.